That was horrible.
I have figured it out.
You figured it out.
Cracked the code.
After all these years, it's finally coming together.
After 6.5 months of long, hard, nice deliberation. After 6.5 months of deliberation there. I'll make this family friendly. Even though, okay, side already with the segue.
You can't even get into your bit. We're segueing away from your bit.
Is saying long and hard like suggestive by nature because we are men?
I think it is only suggestive when you say nice to it. Because honestly, before you said, it took me a second after you said nice, where I was like, what is he? What? Oh, I get it. Oh, you dirty dog, you horn dog, you.
Okay, that's true. But what if someone is literally having a day that is long?
And it's hard.
And what if they're like particularly hard that day?
And it's no, hold on.
Not their penis. I mean like their muscles.
Their muscles are so hard. It's been the longest day, but God, I'm jacked.
I'm so hard today. Wow, this is the beginning. We're 1 minute in. Should we just start over?
No, it's good. Keep going. Tell me about your long, muscle-filled day as I flex over here.
What did I say? Okay.
You've solved it after months of deliberation. You found out how to have a long day and a hard one.
I'm a blue-collar worker, I am. This day been real hard and long.
Blue-collar worker am I. I get the long day. I got the hard muscles. That's still hard. As you define hard as being very strong.
I think... It's hard.
I guess that's why they call Dwayne the Rock, Johnson the Rock, right? Because it's because you touch his muscles and it's like he's like touching stone. Exactly. Do you think he's actually like a stone golem in disguise?
That would be so cool.
You ever wonder
he like
about
breaks
that?
out of his skin, like when you crack an egg, like the yolk comes out, but it's like a fleshy like rock.
And that's the Dwayne in there. That's the Dwayne Johnson inside of
the rock was
itself.
actually inside of us all along.
How many licks does it take to get to the Dwayne Rock center of a
I don't know, let's
Dwayne Johnson
wife.
center of a rock? But have you ever thought about that? You know how you read books or there's movies where like, oh, only we can see these special things. You know, it's all the people that the only the special folks can see this like fantasy stuff in this world, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever think, am I one of those? Am I some pleb and I can't see the magic stuff in the world? Because that's so depressing.
I guess the whole concept of a muggle, swear word, the whole concept of a muggle is inherently interesting because I personally, Derek, co-host of the podcast, that was horrible.
And I, Isaac, co-host of the podcast, that was horrible.
I, as a muggle, just review bad horror movies. Mm-hmm. You were supposed to.
Oh, and I also sit and watch review horror movies.
I was trying to segue.
This is.
Was it good?
Hi, everyone. This is That Was Horrible. A podcast where we do our best
at reviewing the worst in the horror
movie industry things.
Okay, so let's rewind.
Derek, hold on. I actually am dying to know where this bit was going. You have solved the case.
That's why I said rewind.
Rewind.
So this whole time, the narrative we have created is that Big Monday is the problem.
That's right. Loud and proud, Big Monday is the issue here.
I think I've succumbed.
What?
I think I hated Monday.
What?
Today was a Monday.
Now, Derek.
And it was a relatively shitty Monday.
Now, Derek. But
excuse my Latin.
But don't let that skew all Mondays, you know? Just this, you can have a bad Monday.
Okay. My revelation that I had today after months of deliberation, I spoke with my lawyers. They said it was okay for me to talk about this on the podcast.
Okay.
I'm so stupid. I don't even know a lawyer. Okay. Actually,
we know law lawyerman.
I know a few. Law lawyerman. Does anybody out there remember what episode Law Lawyerman was from?
We were reminded that character exists, and all we know is that he likes mayo sandwiches on rye bread.
Yep.
That's all we
thanks,
got.
Tynan, for reminding me of that. I can't remember this character for the life of me, but I want to.
Yes.
I love, there's a distant, far-off memory. Anyway, that's besides the point. Yeah. I talked to Law Lawyerman.
You said you can say this.
I was up on my high horse, and
oh no, and so early.
I guess I'm on a soapbox right now, speaking as a high horse.
Okay, yeah.
High horse, get over here. Row.
You're on a high horse on a soapbox. Like it's like two. It's a hat on a hat.
Big.
Is he building the?
He's building the soapbox. That's what the.
Is that like the bubbles because it's soap?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And high horse gets really distracted sometimes and has paws. He stands up on his hind legs and uses his hoofs to pop them. Okay. So anyway, back on my soapbox. So The thing that I realized is
Yes.
I don't think it's Monday's fault.
Okay.
Right, we've kind of talked about that a little bit.
Right,
like,
yeah.
like big Mondays come in, they've made Monday seem horrible. They've used
Exactly,
Garfield
right.
as their tool, right?
Exactly. They're pawn in this whole
But
thing,
what
right? Their
we've
puppet.
failed to talk about, and this is really serious, and content warning for weekends.
Yeah, for people who enjoy, you weekend enjoyers out there.
I think Big Weekend is the problem.
Big Weekend is the problem.
I think that they, like the alcohol industry before them, are paying off Monday.
Oh.
To thereby bank off the fact that people are so excited for the weekend that they hate Mondays. So, like,
do you think they're paying off Monday to like tank Mondays?
Yeah,
like Mondays,
exactly.
It's like, listen, dude, we're gonna like take the dive for us,
yes,
okay?
yeah, we'll give you some of the cut.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right, so Monday's raking it in on the side here.
Monday is actually scared and hurt.
Okay.
Right? They're struggling.
So it's not even just like the money situation. There's a fear factor.
There's
in
a
this
big
too.
fear. Big. I mean, 2 days versus 1 day. Also, people sing songs about Sunday.
That's true.
And people love Saturday. I mean, you talk to anybody on the planet, you say, what's your favorite day of the week? Oh, freaking Saturday, bro. No one's like, yeah, I love Monday afternoon at 3 p.m.
Yeah, right, exactly. People sing songs about...
It is
really
literally Monday afternoon at 3 p.m.
people often sing songs about the weekends, and they sing songs about, like, there's even, like, Wednesday is hump day. It's got its own thing. Friday, everyone loves Friday. It's like, oh, finally to the weekend. Tuesday and Thursday, what do they got going on?
No, nobody talks about Tuesday.
They're like
Thursday.
the anonymous, like, twins, because they're the teen names of the weeks, and they kind of just sit in the back and kind of watch it all crumble.
But I think it's because they put in their bets early, right? So they were like, okay, we're going to put our stocks in Apple. And the Apple was Mondays, right? And they knew...
Big Monday, Big Apple.
I mean, the weekend, right?
Yeah,
they
big
paid
weekend.
for the weekend.
Yeah.
And so they knew they could just sit back and watch their Bitcoin grow.
Yeah.
Right? But then Saturday and Sunday... They're thriving.
They're living it up
thriving.
right now.
Sunday is doing better than ever with all these people leaving religion across the world. Like that, and that's a big thing. Google it. Like,
true.
unless you're driving, don't Google it.
Don't Google it if you're driving. That goes for any and all episodes we've put out.
Every time I ask you to Google something, please don't.
Please do not immediately. Yes.
Wait until you're sitting on the toilet at your break at work because they can't legally fire you for taking free breaks for going to the bathroom.
To do it on the clock, get paid for that stuff.
Down with corporations.
I like to imagine that, like, anytime we tell someone to Google something, they are compelled to stop whatever they are doing, drop it all, be it dancing on the weekends, driving their car to work, whatever it is. They drop it all and they stop to look up whatever we just told them.
I think they do. I mean, I do. Anytime I'm listening to a podcast and they say Google it, well, okay, let's be fair for a second. I don't think in my entire life I've listened to a podcast where they've told me to Google something. Normally they have the information ready.
Exactly. I think that's kind of the point, right? It's like we listen to the podcast so that we don't have to look things up, right?
We watch these movies so you don't have to, but you're going to have to do some side homework.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, like, we watch these movies so that we can tell you about movies like Night at the Ghouls from 1959.
Hey.
You know, and was that night a weekend? Who knows? I don't actually know if it was on a weekend or not. But while we're on the subject of weeks and days, something's going all the way back to Garfield even, why don't we get into our weekly Garfield horror
let's
scope?
just do it. Let's jump right in.
Let's jump right in. Okay, so we've got, we're recording this on Monday, January 29th, so we've got the comic for this one. So it looks like John is judging Garfield for lazing about. He's like, you've got an easy life. And then Garfield's like, that's not, come on now. I've got it pretty hard here. My situation could be better, you know?
Yeah, he's complaining that the table's too hard. It's a little bit of a Goldilocks situation.
Exactly, right? And I think, you know, decide how you want your life to be. You know, are you a half glass full or a half glass empty kind of person right now? Garfield kind of goes up and forth, back and forth between the two of these, right? But, like, you know, your situation is hard. Don't think about how your table could be softer right now. Yeah. Don't put down your problems right now because there are other harder tables out there right now. Your struggles are real, no matter what John thinks.
I think I just figured out how we should do this bit.
Okay.
One of us should always talk about the metaphor from garlic. From Garfield's perspective, and the other person talk about maybe John or whoever else is there.
Okay, yeah.
So you just gave Garfield's perspective.
Yeah.
For me, this comic reads something so much deeper.
Okay,
because
John has a deep sadness about him.
He does. He walks in and he says, "You've got an easy life, Garfield." Well, from his perspective, John goes to work every day. John plays piano sometimes. John drives a car. John just tries to get laid a lot. And John is having a hard time.
Needs to get laid.
So when he walks in and he sees Garfield just laying down, and he looks that cute orange asshole of a cat in the eyes, And he sees him just don't put Garfield in my face.
I got my Garfield right up in his face.
So gross.
Tell him to his face.
Okay. And he says, "You've got an easy life, bitch." Because that's really what he said there. Like the comic
Really,
obviously
though, yeah,
doesn't
they
say
obviously
that.
they
But you
censored
can
that
see
one.
it in John's eyes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The word "bitch" is right there.
It's right underneath the eyelids, right there.
You
He's
have
covering
to
them up.
feel for John a little bit, but then a little bit further into that, like there's two sides to every coin. Yeah. John only sees one portion of the story. He's only seeing one part of the day. What if the rest of the day Garfield was out chasing birds and mice? And what if he's scared? What if he's having a hard time?
That's true, exactly right. Like
there's
he
two
does not,
sides to every
he does
story.
not see. I mean, like we see 3 panels a day for Garfield's life, and maybe it's one of those things where it's like you look at someone on Instagram and it's always like, wow, you're looking like your life looks so good. You're seeing all like the highlights from their life, right? Maybe these are the highlights from Garfield's days, just when he got to laze about, because the rest of the day he's hauling ass. He's got errands he's running and like deadlines and projects he's working on.
I just had this image
He's
of Garfield
stressed out.
I just had this image of Garfield power walking through a mall. I've got to get to Joann's before they close.
I need to see him like some heels though. So he's got to like click as he walks through the mall.
Oh, but
He's
this
got his
cart
little
looks
mall
delicious.
crawl.
I'm having a little chocolate. Oh, I shouldn't though.
But he's busy. But he's so busy.
Busy cat.
And like and if he got sick, oh man, he cannot get sick right now.
Now, sweet Odie, don't come near me with that sniffly nose. I cannot get sick.
With you and your sniffles right now. Get those sniffles out of here. I cannot.
I want a wall. Can I just have a wall?
You can have a wall.
One big wall. WALL. And on said,
as opposed to what?
I don't know. And on said wall, I would like posters of all of our Garfield bits.
Oh my goodness.
Because we have gone so far.
There are some crazy Garfield bits. But yeah, so to go back to your point, there's two sides to every coin.
There's 2 sides to every coin.
We don't know if he's
There's actually like 100 sides to corn.
We don't know if he's got an easy life truly. That's just what John sees. He leaves in the morning, comes back, he's still laying in the same spot. Could have been up to a lot,
Yeah,
I mean, there was the Garfield movie, and he went to like England or something. Like that's a lot. That would tire a kitty cat out.
John doesn't know.
John has no idea.
Well, maybe he does. I don't know.
Can't hear his thoughts. Wish he could.
Do you know what's crazy, Isaac?
What's crazy, Derek?
We've been doing this podcast for longer than I've been alive.
You're so right. We took your soul from the womb and we turned it into a podcast for only a year. You said you were less than a year old?
I am 7 months old.
Brand new baby.
Ba ba boo boo.
Ba ba boo boo. Derek, little baby Derek. Bop bop bop.
Bop, bop, bop.
How has this happened? Has this been the case the whole time? You're telling me right now?
Yeah, I was born far too late.
I was supposed to take grown adult.
I was supposed to take 9 months to birth, and I took 29 years. My parents like, what's happening? He's so big.
So
I was birthed by an ogre, apparently.
Every achievement in your life, you can just see you stretching through the skin of like your mom's tummy.
Yeah, and like if you put about 8 years ago, I was in culinary school. So if you put like a little X-ray device on my mom's belly, you see me just dicing onions.
No, see, but I really love the imagery of like you, like that one scene in Nightmare on Elm Street where he's stretching through the wall.
Yeah.
It's like that, but you're reaching, you're holding like the whisk in a bowl with a bunch of eggs in it.
That's the
awful.
grossest thing you've ever said.
You started this bit, man.
It's a funny bit, but that's so gross.
Yeah, it's nasty. Yours is a lot cleaner. Mine is like the horror take on yours.
Yeah.
It's like if they released yours as like a movie or something, right?
Yours would be the unrated cut.
And then after, no. It's like after years of after your death, right? And then the rights are released, right? There's no more copyright on it.
You're the
I
Blood and
released
Honey.
the horror rendition of I'm the Blood and Honey.
You're the
I'm
Blood and Honey.
the Steamboat Killy, whatever they're making nowadays. I can't even remember what it was.
I don't know. There's so many horror versions of Steamboat Willie.
Yes.
Should we talk? We can legally talk about Steamboat Willie.
We can now. He's back. He's out in the
Are
open.
we late though? I think we're a little late.
I think we're a little late. Yeah, the hype train kind of left on that, but it's just like it's a weird thing that is happening now. Where as soon as the rights are available for something, studios are just jumping on the opportunity to turn it into a horror IP. And I don't even think it's because it's necessarily. This is me on my high horse. Can you bring it back in the room?
Oh, Isaac's turn. Here we go.
Yeah, hop up on the high. Okay. Thank you for this. Thank you. Okay, it's just a little further. Now a little back. Now a little further. Okay, I'm gonna get up on this now. It's not even necessarily that like people are clamoring to make these horror renditions of children's characters because they think they'll make a good movie or anything like that. I think it's literally because there was so much shock factor when they had come out with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and now they're making a sequel to it. So like there is some line of success here, right? So I think people saw that Steamboat Willie's going to be in the public domain. We gotta jump on that. We're gonna be the next Blood and Honey, and it's just like I feel like it will never reach that again, right? Because they are trying to redo what has been done, right?
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. Have you? I don't mean to segue.
Oh, okay.
I actually always mean to segue.
No, you should segue. I think that's all. I'm hopping off my soapbox on my high horse, and I'm down.
I think that bit is
Bye,
over.
high horse.
Have you ever considered the power of a sound?
The power of a sound. There are some terrible sounds.
There are some horrible. So earlier, about 30 seconds ago, I went, or something like that. I can't even do it. Anyway,
one of those you can't recreate. It's like when you do an impression and you only have one of them in you.
But kinky. So I imagined I'm okay. Everybody, close your eyes.
Everyone, close your eyes.
We're going into the meditation portion.
Unless you're driving, then don't close your eyes.
Skip ahead 5 minutes if you're driving. Well, tell your phone, tell Siri or Google to skip ahead. Okay. Imagine this. You're in 13th grade.
13th grade.
This is freshman of college, apparently. Okay. And you're hanging out with your buddies at the diner.
Hi, we're all at the diner. Yeah. Ching.
Yeah, we got to make noises like it's a diner. Ching, ching. I got 3 orders for patties.
Hey, we got 4. Who's got number 4?
Hey, I need a slam back in the saddle. Drizzle of honey mustard.
You call this a waffle? My wife could waffle harder than you.
Anyway, you're at the diner. The lady, hey, what do you want, hon?
Hey, table 7, send it back. They said they found a hair in it.
What do you want, hon? And you look
That's
up at
always
the waitress.
The calmest feeling when they call you like hon or baby. You're like, oh,
hey, what you getting, hon?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's like a southern.
Yeah, exactly.
Damsel.
It's like it's a woman who has lived a life.
She has, and you want to know more about her life.
Really though, she probably gets deep.
She looks at you and she says, "What you want, hon?" And you say, "I would like 1 Reuben, and I want a Coke to go." She says, "All right, you look a little young to be eating a Reuben and a Coke to go, but I'll get it for you anyway." So she walks off. She goes back to the kitchen.
She's got banter, you know?
She says, "I need 1 rye Mississippi with a good old slurp to go." Because
got that 1 Reuben and a Coke. Understood.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Every diner has their shorthand for everything, and it's always so stupid.
It's always such
Every
nonsense.
movie has that.
Every time.
It's like, can I get a flipper floppy with a stack of the Lord's mayo?
Yeah, can I get 3 flippin' Johnnies and a side of Easy Mac? Like what?
Yeah. Hey, but you just asked me for 3 small steaks and mashed potatoes.
Exactly, right? You know. Where does that start? You've worked in restaurants. Have you ever
Yeah, but I've never
that?
worked in a diner in the 50s.
I guess that's fair. Maybe that's a dying art form these days. Like we need to create ridiculous shorthand for food items now.
Like everything's like simple now. Everyone wants simple. And the only thing that's stuck around is the word 86. Anyway, we digressed. We're sorry for those of you who are actually meditating to this.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, we're back.
I know at least one person is meditating to this. That doesn't sound like a diner though.
Oh, right.
Clink, clink.
Ting, ting.
Audrey, come home.
Ah, the new hostess. She dropped all the flapjacks again. Great. Lost another one in a week.
What are we gonna do? We just lost 30 flipper-flappies. Okay, I've given pancakes like 20 names. All right, so you're sitting there with your friends.
So you're sitting there with your friends. You're at the diner.
She comes up to you. She brings you your Reuben. It's nice. It's hot. You notice that the middle of the corned beef wasn't really steamed enough, so it's still cold, but the outside of the meat is warm and the cheese is nicely melted, so you're not going to complain.
These are the only kind of descriptions you would get from a man who went to culinary school.
You notice that the Thousand Island dressing is perfect, but there's a little too much mayo for your taste. And you wish the pickle to the mayo ratio was a little bit better.
Are you speaking like from experience or just completely hypothetical?
And the fries, they were cooked a little not long enough. Like there's some that are a little soggy, and you get that one fry right in the middle that's still slightly frozen. But you don't want to send it back because this is diner food. This is pub food. This is what you came to this diner in the 1950s to expect.
Right.
So you get your Coke to go. You look up at your friend and you say,
"Cook to go,
Coke."
Oh, they say your cook. You cook. You're coming with me.
You cook. You eat your sandwich, and even though you know in 3 hours you're going to be spending at least 20 minutes on the toilet, you had a fantastic time journeying through that sandwich. You get to the end, you slurp, You slurp.
Mm-hmm.
You slurp.
On your Coke or on your Cook?
Yeah. No, your Coke. And then you notice something wonderful.
Uh-huh.
Since you got the to-go cup, you have a musical instrument now.
Oh?
And you take the straw.
Is this where we're getting
And
with
you go,
this?
ooh, ooh, ooh.
Is this?
And then, shut up.
Oh my God.
Be with me. And and then you decide that you're going to spend your rest of your life as a Foley artist.
And that's the power of sound?
That's the power of sound.
Is that how far we've
Thank you for
come?
coming to this episode's presentation of Diner in the 50s.
Thank
Guy
you,
becomes a Foley artist.
Thank you, I've been Isaac.
I've been some fucking guy. Okay, so the reason I brought that up.
Yeah, what does this have to do with anything?
Oh, I just thought it was cool how when I did that with my mouth, it sounded
That's
like
what
a
it
straw.
sounded like. So you needed 90 minutes to tell us the whole story.
That was
the emotional arc.
That was a beautiful story of love, of loss, of a desperate woman's attempt to make money for her 3 unborn children.
And is it a success story or what? Like, do they end up becoming this famous Foley artist or what?
And
was it all a dream the whole time?
That's the question, man. That's the best thing about art.
That's how
like
they
you
leave
can
it,
leave things open to interpretation and not explain almost anything. Much like this movie, you can do everything.
Much like what movie?
Night of the Ghouls. Let's talk about it.
We've done a horrible job. Can we do some riffs on like Night of the Ghouls? I'm a ghoul.
Look at me, I'm a ghoul. Hey, there were no
what's
ghouls
that? Is
in
it
this
the
movie.
moon? Ooh, it must be nighttime. I'm
What
a
is
ghoul
what
in
is-
the night.
what is
It
the ghoul definition?
Night of the ghouls. Ooh.
All right, Oxford Languages defines ghoul as ghoul, Ghoul, pronounced ghoul. Noun, an evil spirit or phantom, especially one supposed to rob graves and feed on dead bodies.
That's true. This is
or a person morbidly interested in death or disaster.
That's a ghoul.
My friend Sally was such a ghoul.
I feel like, I don't know, I feel like you could almost classify people who are super into like true crime stuff to almost be ghouls.
Oh my God. We have to start a true crime podcast right now so we can call our fans.
So we can call our fans ghouls.
That's
you guys
so
want to be
good.
ghouls? Can
You guys
you
wanna
be
be ghouls?
ghouls? Are you guys ghouls?
Hey, are you guys cool?
Are you guys cool with that?
Are you going to tell the cops?
Hey.
You
ghoul?
cool? You cool?
You ghoul? I'm cool with it.
Are you cool? Whoa!
I'm too
I
ghoul
just
for
snorted
school.
in the microphone.
So come back to me. So
Everybody's
so
here,
so
right
go
here,
back to a
right here.
diner in the 1950s and you hear a lot of
Hey,
squealing.
buddy!
Yeah, you hear a lot of squealing in the
buddy!
background and like, what's that?
Go
so
away,
you pick up
George.
your to-go
With the
cup full of
voice.
Coke and then you walk into the
Buddy!
kitchen. You walk back there.
back to
What's
me,
all that
buddy!
squealing?
I
It's
didn't
actually a
mean it.
pig. They got a pig back there, but not one for eating. The pig is a chef.
George, I already told
pig is-
kids.
The pig is one of
You
the
had
chefs
the
in the back,
house.
and he makes a sound. He goes,
Buddy, she meant
and
nothing
that's
to
what
me.
it sounds like when Derek made that sound. You're still so far back. You're so far away.
I'm so excited to hear what that sounded like. I hope everyone could hear it.
I think everyone heard it.
Aw.
But that
Everybody?
bit was kind of cool.
That was a cool bit.
And if it was at the night, I'd say it was Night of the Ghoul.
Nah.
Nah.
Oh my God. There were no diners in this movie.
No,
Hey, Isaac,
zero, absolutely zero diners. But he did get one part right. This movie was made in the year 1959.
59.
Almost the 60s. Almost, but we made it. So the 50s bit, you can say it all connects.
You can say
we
it's
can get out our
all
cork
there.
board and our yarn.
I'm going to get up on my high horse. Come here, buddy. I'm tired. No more. No more, please.
Are we being cut off?
Help. Help. I don't want to.
Listen, you don't have to,
Isaac, Warwick, no more.
you don't have to build more boxes. You can just come in here.
It's my sustenance. I have to eat the box to
Eating the
survive.
boxes?
Mhm.
We should
But I'm
feed
full.
High Horse more
I'm
than like
full.
weed cookies.
No, see, the pastor I bought him from told me that he could only eat boxes made of weird things.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why he's called High Horse, because he helps people get really, really, really high.
Uh-huh.
Like if we were in the 80s, it would mean something completely
It's
different.
totally
He-
different thing, right?
Actually, he was in the 80s. They called him Captain Jack. It was really funny. If anybody gets that Billy Joel reference, it was really funny.
Pretty good, pretty good. Should we discuss Night of the Ghouls at all? Are you cool with that?
Are you cool with that? I think so. I think we could talk about it. I just like, I don't know. I'm feeling sad.
Why are you sad, Derek?
Because I'm not.
You look so ghoul.
I just want to be such a cool guy.
We're the ghoulest podcasters around. Has anyone said that yet?
God, why did Ed Gein show up when I was searching Knights of the Ghouls?
That's kind of scary.
Ew.
Why is
Ed Gein on?
Why is he on IMDb? If you ghouls out there know why, that's a little.
Oh my god!
We didn't watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What happened?
Every serial killer on IMDb?
Oh
Let's
no!
see, Jeffrey
You can't be looking this up right now. Oh no!
Is he here?
No, it doesn't look like it. Just the show. No.
Oh my! No, there he is.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, this is one of the most fucked up things I've ever seen in my life, and I'm laughing because it's funny. Why are there serial killers on IMDb?
Why do we
that
need
is
them
literally,
here?
You know that song "Funny Feeling"?
Yeah.
by Bo Burnham.
Yeah.
This is a funny feeling.
This is a.
We need to
yes,
call him.
You're right.
You gotta add serial killers.
It's time
on
to
IMDb
it's time to
credits.
release Funny Feeling 2.
I feel so gross right now.
Oh no.
That's so messed up.
Let's
man.
get back to Night of the Ghouls. I can't. I don't want to be a ghoul today.
I'm upset, Dad. Help me.
Help.
All right, so Night of the Ghouls from 1959 has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 30% and an audience score of 20%. That's why we watched it, because those scores were low.
If you didn't know, the scores are low. That's how it gets here.
Scores are low, we give them a blow.
That's why we're here. Well, now
Letterboxd.
scores are low. We give them a go would be better, Dave. It wouldn't. We don't
say it in so.
Oh my! Oh,
you want to take a row?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Go with the flow. Are you okay though?
Joe. We both said a name.
All right, I'll keep you in tow.
All right, so time for the ABCs of Night of the Ghouls.
Oh my God! A is for
we can't. Hold on! Right now, we have to commit for real. Okay.
I'm waiting.
Okay, B is for B movie.
C is for catch you later. I'm watching Night of the Ghouls.
D is for darkness. Every scene is shrouded in darkness.
E is for every time we do this bit, a child dies.
F is for forget about that dead child. We're doing the bit.
G is for good God. Are they doing the ABC bit
It's
again?
not gonna be ghouls.
Oh shit!
It's just like how we did Underworld. We didn't say you was. No, it's set though. It's set.
What's H?
H is for ha. You didn't say ghouls.
A B C D E F G H. I is for I can't believe we're doing this stupid thing again.
J is for jokes aplenty, which this movie does not have.
K is for kill me now. That's it.
L is for laugh out loud.
M is for make us stop. We can't. We're contractually obligated to do this bit.
N is for no more. I'm tired of it.
O is for O.
Oh, just O.
Yeah. OH.
P is for police officers, which there are a lot of in this movie. I'm trying to make it more themed towards the actual movie.
Q is for quarantine me like the ghouls got quarantined to the graveyard in this movie.
Okay. R is for riddle me this. Why are we doing this bit again?
S is for suspect the guy for being not a good guy in this movie, Night of the Ghouls. Man, I'm so bad.
T is for terrifying effects. Ooh.
U is for Utah is not the place that Night of the Ghouls was filmed.
V is for very good realization, Derek. It was not filmed in Utah.
VW.
Uh-huh.
W is for if I had a lisp, White of the Ghouls is how I would say this.
X is for Xmas movie, which this was not.
Y is for you sticked around and listened to this. So technically it's your fault we did the ABC bit.
And Z is for ZZ Top.
Oh yeah, I like him. They got beards.
And that's the ABCs
I
of
can't believe
Night
we
of
did
the
that bit
Ghouls.
again. Do you remember like the 4-hour production meeting we had when we sat on a couch and watched a movie? And we talked in great length about how we should never do the ABC bit again.
And then it happened. I gave you, listen, you had the chance to stop it. You had the power.
Is there another ABC bit we could do? Maybe we do is it a palindrome?
Okay.
When you do a word for every letter or acronym.
Can we just do ghouls though?
Yeah.
Okay.
So G is for great fun.
H is for howling good time.
Ooh. O is for ooh.
U is for are you guys sure you want to do this bit again?
L is for Losers, I quit the podcast.
And S is for spooky, as always.
And 1959 is for when I wasn't born.
There was one movie we watched 9 times, 5 days in a row, 9 years ago.
Whoa.
And I remember it, every aspect of the
That's
movie.
crazy. Imagine,
I could never forget.
imagine if there was one movie you watched 9 years ago, 5 times in a row, 9 days in a row.
That would that's too many. That's too much movie. That's way too much movie. I don't know if there's any movie that I would do that with.
I could do that with La La Land.
Yeah, that's true. You do love La La Land very
It's a
much.
beautiful movie.
I don't know. I'm not one for like rewatching movies all that
Me
much.
neither.
But anyway, so there's your precursor. I don't know. That's your
Make that
preliminary
into a
glance
children's book.
We're gonna release a whole line of children's books for every horror movies. We're gonna get more gateway horror, I guess.
So last episode, I talked in great length about how I wanted to run for president.
Oh yeah,
This-
yeah.
This episode,
How's that going, Derek? How's your campaign?
It's not great. It's a lot of pain, less camp. This episode, I want to talk great length.
That's the funniest thing you've ever said.
Thanks. I think I'll stop the bit now because I can't beat it.
No, come on, keep going.
Okay,
you got more. You got a hot hand. Come on.
I think I'm going to start small, and I'm going to run for governor of Alaska.
Okay. Why Alaska's like huge?
Yeah,
Run
but
for like Alaska or like for president or like governor of Delaware. That's teeny. That's small.
Della, where is that? I don't know.
Delaware. Where the hell is Delaware?
Did you just do a Footloose reference?
Yeah, man. Bringing it back, Footloose days. So you're gonna run to be governor of Alaska now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so the circumference of Alaska is the same as the circumference of the rest of the world. So I figured if I looked at Alaska on a map, there's a lot of geography there. There's a lot of geometry there.
Just he looked at he opened the map. He's like, God, there's a lot going on here. Jesus.
So I feel like so everybody in Alaska right now, we have so many listeners in Alaska.
Oh yeah, all of you.
I don't think anyone in Alaska knows who we are.
Shout out to my Alaskan
fellas.
fellas.
Juno.
What's happening?
Juno.
And Jimmy. It's good to see you, Jimmy.
Hey, Frankel.
Juniper.
Frankel.
It's good to see you. We're doing J names. Everyone in Alaska has a J name.
Jekyll.
Jekyll. Jekyll and Jide.
Josier instead of Hosier.
Jarek and Jizek.
Jonathan. Jalapenos.
Jalapenos.
Send us in your J names.
Yes.
All right. So running for governor of Alaska is actually a pretty tedious process.
It sounds like it's tedious no matter where you're
You
at.
have to get cold a lot. You have to know how to
have
plow
to.
snow with your bare hands.
But they look at you, they're like, no. Look at this guy. Now he's way too warm to be our Alaskan governor. Absolutely
oh, this
not.
guy's from Utah? That's a desert. Get him out of here.
No way, get him cold.
I
we
actually
just put him in the fridge.
We have segued so far from what I meant.
To your
that
point.
I can't remember what it was. So maybe in 6 years I'll bring it back. I think I just mostly wanted to bring back the president bit because it was the funniest thing I've ever said in my
That's
life.
very, very good. So
All right.
tell us about Night of the Ghouls
I
from
think that's what I'm gonna do.
1959.
I left off here. First, I want you to tell me what you're drinking.
Today, I am drinking we call this, Derek has told me it is called the White Ghost. Is that what we're calling this?
White Ghost.
Based after the White Ghost in the movie Night of the Ghouls. Ooh. And
So
Derek,
basically-
what resides in this beverage here?
All right, so you've got a whiskey sour with apple martinellis. It comes with 1 jigger of ectoplasm.
Whoa.
It comes with 3 boots. It comes with 1 man's flesh. It comes with 8 goats worth of hair.
Now, hold on,
It comes with 6 peanuts, and don't forget 1 lime squirt.
So you said 1 man's flesh. Like, how much flesh exactly? Is it like all of it or a piece of flesh?
Me, Bilbo the bartender, will
Bilbo
never
the
tell you how many flesh there is, but what I will say is that it's very delicious. A soupy twist.
Gotta say, I kind of love Bilbo Bartender. We need to visit him every single week.
Goodbye.
Oh, bye, Bilbo Bartender.
He actually did the voiceover for the intro.
That's what it's been the whole time. It's been Bilbo
the
Bartender.
bartender went, that was horrible. I can't do it because I'm not Bilbo the
I
bartender.
hope Bilbo the Bartender doesn't have a bad day. You know, Bilbo the Bartender had a bad day. I hope he's breakdancing in the back lot, you know.
What the fuck?
You gave me the character. I'm giving you the alliteration here.
I don't know why that was so funny to me. That was like so funny. Okay, we can move on. This is a great drink, though. I don't taste the flesh. Hopefully, you don't either.
I thought I tasted a little bit, but I wasn't going to say anything, so I'm glad
just thought that was like
Bilbo
the
bartender told me a little bit about it.
I kind of thought that was the expired Martinelli's he put in it, but we'll find out.
It's fine.
Find out in a few hours.
The what?
The Letterboxd score for this movie is 2.6.
no.
IMDb is 3.6. Let's talk about the budget real quick.
Let's get into it. It's big budget time with Bilbo Bartender.
Whoa, I am. I don't remember his voice already.
I just like the alliteration.
Bilbo Bartender.
No, come on. And no, so the budget time.
Bilbo's budgeting bartender. This movie was 69 minutes. Nice.
Hey, nice.
Okay.
I hate it.
I hate it too. Please, everyone, let us know if you'd like us to start editing our episodes.
Yeah, just send us an email that says, please. And we'll understand why.
I'll get it.
We know what it means.
Come on, anything.
Is it please stop the Garfield bits? Please edit your videos.
The next episode.
Please get on and actually be a horror movie review podcast.
So let's pretend like that's what we did. Okay.
Yeah.
Fast forward. Bilbo the bartender comes in.
That was horrible.
Oh, beautiful. Another great take, Bilbo the bartender. He does that live every episode.
Hey, it's me, Derek. I'm here with Isaac, my good co-host.
Yeah,
we are on NPR Radio.
It's me, and
we
I'm
are
Isaac.
talking movies.
We're talking movies again. Today is Night of the Ghouls.
Night of Ghouls from 1959.
Yes, thank you.
What did you think of this movie there, Phil?
I thought it was a great. I'm Phil now. Okay, I'm Isaac Phil. Yes, wonderful. It was a good time. You know, like really reminds me of my days in my youth back in 1959 when I would go to many diners. I would visit, and they had. Oh, he's asleep. I'm gonna shake him awake. Hey there. Hey, Phil Derek.
Okay, but who's filling me?
No. Is that how we're waking you up?
Who's filling me?
Phil Derek.
Okay. Oh wait, are we both named Phil with our name after?
Yeah, exactly. That's Phil
because
Derek and
Phil
Isaac.
is an inherently boring name,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it makes sense.
Go look it up. I bet there's
Okay.
at least one person working for NPR who's named Phil.
Let's do that again, but this time I feel like we're doing an improv game. I'm tricking you into doing improv. Yes, and don't be bland.
Yes, and
okay.
don't be bland.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay,
So,
this time
we're
gonna start over, and this time we got an email that just said more Statler and Waldorf. Okay. Brr, 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 brr. Oh, that was horrible. Oh, this movie was as good as A Night on the Town, don't you think, Isaac?
Oh, I've seen more horror on my grandma's backside.
Oh, you know what'd be more ghoulish? My ex-girlfriend. Oh,
The scariest thing was this movie kept going.
oh, Night of the Ghouls, more like Night of My Death. Oh, okay.
Oh, Statler, it makes me sad to think about because I'm going to be all alone when you're gone, Statler. I'll be so sad.
It's such a hard thing to think about. We're both so old.
We're passing away together now.
Oh, Kirby and Miss Piggy broke up.
We're dead. No, and we're ghosts now. We're Marley and Marley.
Ooh. That was incredible. I loved that bit. I
really hope there's a cross section of like people that enjoy our podcast and people that like the Muppets.
And
Otherwise,
if not,
that was nothing.
Yeah, I feel like there's a good like 10% of our listeners who don't know the Muppets are.
Yeah, who are just like, what the hell?
Think
is
about
happening?
that margin though. 90% should know who the Muppets are. So if you don't know who the Muppets are, you're in the 10%.
Yeah.
You should go apply to be president because
Go
only
out
the
there.
10% can be president.
We need a Muppet president now more than
Right
ever.
now, if Kermit's not taking office, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to have to commit ghoulicide.
What?
That's when you kill a ghoul.
My God.
I meant to say Kermit ghoulicide, but I
Kermit's
said commit.
Ghoulicide. There we go.
And then it was a lot darker.
There's the badoomts.
I'd
There's
like
the
to
bit
go
there.
back in time. So, Night of the Ghouls
Night of the Ghouls.
was released in 1984.
Now hold on, Derek. Now hold on. I looked it up, and it says this movie's from 1959. What are you talking about?
Why would that be? Maybe Count Trivia will have to tell us about that later. Stay tuned for the end of the I'll touch into it slightly. I'm not going to tell you all about it. Basically, for one reason or another that the Count Trivia will talk about later, this movie didn't see the light of day for about 30 years.
Yeah, long
I think it was 25 years. That like it just kind of sat in a desk. This movie was written and directed by Ed Wood.
Ed Wood? Would you like to tell me more about Ed Wood,
Do you know who Ed Wood is?
No, I don't actually. You're the one who actually brought brought him to my attention as a person that exists at all.
Yeah, so we sat down, we were about to watch the movie, and I can't remember if it was before. No, it was when his name popped up on screen. I screamed.
Yeah, I was like, Derek, what happened? It's not scary yet. Nothing has happened.
And I said, I pinched my finger. And then Ed Wood's name popped up on screen, and I screamed again.
Screamed and screamed and screamed.
So Ed Wood, you may have actually seen the movie by Tim Burton and starring Jimothy Crane.
Jimothy Johnny Depp. Could you really remember
his name?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Okay, anyway, so Ed Wood was like basically, to sum it up, he was a very troubled director.
Absolutely.
He's like, it's kind of like touching to look back at him now, and not touching in the sense that, you know, he made a lot of porn films, but touching in the sense touching in the sense that, like, he never gave up. Like, he was the
Just
type that was like
at it.
And we all have someone in their life like that who, like, does so much and is, like, constantly pumping out content.
That's
like,
true, and just like cannot break, will not break. They're always doing something.
And
right?
I've known people like that. Like, our good friend Spencer is awesome like that. Like, he's super successful in that sense. Like, he is constantly putting out new content.
It is
like
pretty
new plays
impressive
and
to
stuff.
see the rate at which this man can, like, create new good things.
And he does create really, really good things. I don't mean to the only reason I'm comparing him to Ed Wood is because of that drive.
Yes.
Right? Ed Wood. No one should be compared to him because he was kind of insane.
Sounds like he had some issues going on.
Yes, and you should totally watch that movie by Tim Burton from, I think it's like 1998. It's really, really good. Basically, all I can say, he got many awards for being the worst director of all time.
Really? Yikes. What a legacy.
Like, he kind of like created the B movie.
Oh,
so like he made Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Which you have
Bride
seen?
of the Yes.
Yes.
But I've only seen it in the sense that I've seen it through Ed Wood, and also the movie Ed Wood.
Yes.
And then also Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Right. I forgot.
But he also did Bride of the Monster, which is one that's it's a cult classic now. But it's kind of one of those sad stories where he was pushing so hard to create what he thought was great. Like, he was an auteur in his own mind, right?
Yeah.
And when that didn't work, he kind of turned to porn, and then it started making things like Orgy of the Dead and The Sinister Urge and Necromania.
Wow.
Yeah,
Now,
and
those are some titles.
Right? Oh,
Wonder
man.
what the Rotten Tomatoes score is on those bad boys.
Dude, you want to watch Necromania for the podcast? I don't think we can.
Don't know if I do.
Necromania.
That's the thing. I'm not going to, nor should you, but I'm curious, like, does it exist in a fashion where you could watch that? Because
are you
no, just like look it up and then give me your computer and I'm gonna be back in a second.
Oh, it's got a 25, dude.
What?
Yeah, we could watch this.
Oh, I hate that so much.
Never
No,
mind.
that's something very
else.
different.
That's something else. I don't think this is on Rotten Tomatoes. Probably not.
Probably, and that's okay, I think.
It was very, very like I haven't watched any of them.
Yeah.
All I know is from the movie. Basically, they were just really, really softcore porn. Like, it was just like people being naked. And it was just like Ed Wood was just a really horny
But
man.
it was artsy. It was
But
artsy and campy as all hell.
From what I read a little bit about them, just so I could talk about them clearly here. Apparently in Necromania, the most like horror thing that happens, even though it is called horror softcore X-rated porn, it's she just like holds a skull at one point.
Oh God!
Oh no!
So spooky. There's a skull.
Oh, I'm so turned on.
I'm so turned on. It's scary.
But like, they're noted. All of his movies, even the sex ones, like are known for like their campy aesthetics, their technical errors, their special effects that are really unsophisticated. I mean, one of my favorite things about Night of the Ghouls that we watched is the main police office set. We'll talk about it more. Well, probably not. I'll just talk about it now. The main police office set that they use in this movie is very obviously just like some wooden planks on a sound stage.
Police office set. I kept thinking you were saying officer wrong. This police office set. I'm like, what is a police office set?
It's
the fancier.
It's a small bunny.
It's like the French version. Is this police office set? Police office set.
It's me, Bill Skarsgård from John Wick 4.
It is me, Bill Skarsgård from John Wick 4.
Oh God, that voice, John Wick 4.
I feel like he's come up like almost every episode for the past like couple weeks.
I think I'm in love with Bill Skarsgård.
You might just be, and that's okay. I get that.
Do you remember that moment
But
in
so
the
the
movie when I
police-
killed John Wick?
The police office set.
The
What about
police- I think I just spoiled John Wick 4. That didn't happen, actually.
didn't
You guys should
happen.
watch that movie. It's the best movie of 2023. Okay. Yeah, the police office set
Yes.
is literally just like some walls. Like it seems like really, really, really low budget community theater.
Absolutely.
And like there's a door.
Absolutely.
And no one else was laughing at this, but I thought it was funny. So come here, audience. Come laugh at this with me.
Come in close.
There's the part every time someone opens and closes this door, it like hits and then opens back up again because it's not a real door.
No,
It's
the lock doesn't click into anything, right?
It's obviously just like a piece of the wall they cut out and then put hinges on.
Yep.
And they were hinging on it.
They're like, this is a door now.
Yeah. So anyway, they made a movie about him. It's really cool because it's all about Bela Lugosi's final days and Ed Wood as a director. And obviously it was directed by Tim Burton. So
now you mentioned something about like Ed Wood was the last one to like give Bela Lugosi work, right?
yeah, Bela Lugosi, famous
Who
Dracula.
is, you know, the original Dracula.
He kind of made the blah blah.
blah blah.
Hey, Count Trivia, was Bela Lugosi your inspiration? Just
I don't know I am completely original. I don't know what do you mean? Who is this? Bella's a girl's name, so I don't know what you were talking about. I would never know. Come on now. Let's not be silly. I gotta go. It's this. Oh, I'm coughing. I'm going now.
I don't know why I'm letting you just go Count Trivia. You're such a ghoul. So Plan 9 from Outer Space was like Ed Wood's like big movie. If you could say he had a big movie, right?
This would be it.
Because it had Bela Lugosi in it, and it also had Vampira was in it.
Oh, Vampira.
Yeah,
no
Vampira
Vampira
was in it. Anyway, there were a bunch of people in this movie that like were famous for one reason or another, and it was so bad.
Really?
It is so bad.
Oh,
You
man.
would love it, honestly, dude.
I bet I would.
We should watch it because it will. I mean, we could technically watch it from the podcast.
I suppose we could. It does say horror sci-fi, and I feel like if Bela Lugosi is that, and that counts as horror.
The problem
enough,
with Plan 9
right?
from Outer Space is it's so loved now for all of the wrong reasons. It's got a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes.
66%,
Yeah, it's way too high.
That's way too up there.
But we'll watch it off camera.
We'll watch that for funsies, because you know what, guys? Sometimes we watch movies for fun.
I don't believe that.
I know it's a crazy concept, but sometimes I'm like, you know, Derek, today I want to watch a movie and have a good time. I want to enjoy this.
And then I pull out my laptop and I start writing notes, and he hits it out of my hands. I have to buy
No,
a new laptop.
you can't stop.
I bought like 8 laptops.
we
in
keep
the last
buying
year.
laptops, guys. Please help us.
me.
We're so
Help
deep in
me.
debt
I
right
need
now.
so much laptop.
We need so many laptops.
donate all of your old laptops.
so that I can continue to smash them in my Hulk-like rage.
But Plan 9 from Outer Space is not the movie we're talking about. We're talking about Night of the Ghouls. And something we found out during this movie, it's actually a sequel.
Which they never ever advertised in any of the ad campaigns for this movie. It is not like, you know, I feel like often in these older movies you see like the thrilling sequel to this movie, right? To the because it's not a sequel to Plan 9, it's a sequel
Bride
to
of the Monster.
Bride of the Monster, yeah. It's like the thrilling sequel to Bride of the Monster. Here it is. It is Night of the Ghouls. Nothing ever says that. But throughout the movie, we had discovered like it probably would have been a little beneficial if we had seen Bride of the Monster.
Yeah, so I'll help you guys out a little bit by
Yeah,
just
yeah.
giving you a quick rundown of what happened in Bride of the Monster. Basically, there's like a cabin in the woods.
Got Cabin in the Woods, classic.
And Bela Lugosi plays a guy who's creating monsters.
Is he the scientist?
He is the scientist.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like creating monsters.
Because throughout this whole movie, they keep talking about the events that happened in this house that this movie is now taking place in. All of those events were from Bride of the Monster.
Exactly. So he creates a monster called Lobo, which is basically not a wolf, even though the name makes you think so,
in
and not that
Spanish,
guy
Lobo
from
means-
DC. So basically, he's like Igor,
Yeah,
right? He ends up dying at the end of the movie.
Does
and
he?
I thought so.
Bela Lugosi or Lobo?
Bela Lugosi,
Oh, okay,
which is
okay,
why
okay.
he's not in the next one. I
That
think he
tracks,
gets
that
struck by
tracks.
lightning,
Well,
and there's a
that's fun.
fire, and that's why Lobo's face is all messed up in the next movie.
Okay. So there are things that like you would kind of need to know. Like
Yeah,
I just
well,
thought Lobo
they
just
kind
looked messed up. I
They
thought that's
kind
just
of
how he was
talked
created.
about it a little bit in Night of the Ghouls, but it was like one sentence, and it was so hard to like cusp. Is that the right word? Cusp.
But there is a recurring character between these two, right?
Yes. Oh God. I've been. Oh God.
Oh God, jeez, oh man, oh jeez.
Riff for a second. I minimized something.
Ding dong dong ding
Boom.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I did a while ago. Actually, I just wanted to keep going.
That's great.
So, so the characters that return are Lobo, Captain Robbins, Patrolman Kelton.
Yes.
And Henry Edwards.
Kelton is like in a decent amount of these movies.
Yeah, Kelton keeps coming back.
He's a funny little character.
And it's the same actor. The only one not playing by the same actor is Captain Robbins. He's played by Johnny Carpenter, not to be confused with John Carpenter. Because when I read that, I kind of freaked out a little bit. And I was like, John Carpenter of Halloween? The guy who created Halloween, the holiday?
The Halloween honey, John Carpenter.
What else did John Carpenter do? He did nothing important to this episode. All right, so...
Fair. That's fair.
Am I wrong? So let's talk about budget for a second.
Yes. God, you brought up budget 9 years ago. We still haven't brought up the budget.
There's a lot to talk about with this movie.
I guess so. I didn't think there was.
I mean, once we get into the movie itself, it will go quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess the last thing to say about Ed Wood before I go into budget, he was very self-produced. He was very self-driven. It's honestly like kind of inspirational, but it's also like a touching story to be like true to yourself. I feel like Ed Wood had a lot of confusion in his life that he wasn't able to. I don't know how to touch around this. Like he there was a lot going on in his life that he couldn't deal with in the climate that he lived in, and it's really sad. It's actually quite tragic. If you watch the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you just look at his old filmography, you know what I'm talking about. And I feel like he is an icon now.
Yes,
it's a lot like what's that guy who did Starry Night? Not Picasso.
Van Gogh.
It's a lot like Van Gogh, where like he was creating all of these work that wasn't appreciated at his time. And he was very, not necessarily hated, but not appreciated.
Exactly. Right?
And
it
then
wasn't until after his death in the future later on, everyone's like, wow, what an amazing artist.
Because like
he never gets to see that, you know?
No, it's sad. And
isn't that an episode of Doctor Who?
Yes.
Where they bring Van Gogh to the future and he like comes to a museum and he's like, wow, they love it. That's insane.
Yeah, and he can't handle it.
It's kind of touching. It's a very touching moment, right?
I'm honestly going to start crying because it's like kind of beautiful. No, but like Ed Wood, for example, like it's it's hard to think about how hard he worked and how much he loved his own work.
Yeah.
All of its insanity, and it never got any recognition until after he died. And it really makes me sad because like he wrote over 80 pulp crime and sex novels.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
I'm curious what the ratio there is. How many of them are pulp crime? How many of them were sex?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't have a list, but he wrote a lot.
Yeah.
And the point is he never gave up. I think that there's something everyone can take.
I mean, we talk about that though, like when we were talking about our top horror of 2023, right? We talked about like the passion projects ones and how great those are. You know, I think pretty much everything this man made was a passion project, right?
Absolutely. And this movie, for one reason or another, took a long time to actually release. And we'll have count trivia talk about that later. But understanding the reasons why make you go, Ed Wood, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're sacrificing your relationships. You're sacrificing everything for your craft. And I think that there's another lesson there, right? Like, take advantage of what you can, but don't take advantage of the people around you.
Yes.
Because it will come back to bite you. And it won't be looked on in a good light later in your life.
No, definitely not.
All right. That's, I guess, high horse. I got up on my own high horse that time, so you can go.
Oh, thank you, Derek. I'm so tired.
You're doing it. That was fun. See, that's the joy of doing Scooby-Doo high horse is we both can do the voice. Poorly, but we both can do the voice. So yeah, that's Ed Wood. He's basically done a lot. He paid for all of it. He didn't pay anyone else. And that's the end of the story.
Do you want to get into the Rotten Tomatoes reviews? Yeah, let's get into that. So there is no critics consensus, no audience consensus for this one. So we're just going to get right into the nitty gritty of it. So we'll start we'll just start easy with Jonathan Rosenbaum from Chicago Reader, who's a top critic, with a Rotten review that just says a grade Z effort.
Oof.
You know, there's grade A, there's B, C, D, E, F, G,
H, I, J, K.
Why is there no grade E? It's just F.
I had E's.
You had E's?
Yeah.
Did you get them with E's?
Oh.
No, but so all the way to the bottom, there's Z. It's a grade Z effort, says Jonathan Rosenbaum in 2001.
Got him. Blah blah blah. Trevor Johnson of Time Out gave this a rotten review that says, expect yet more of the Neo-Breckian panache, i.e. complete technical incompetence, that secured Wood his reputation as the very worst of the worst.
Ooh, bad. Rob, this name sounds like a fake name that an alien would give themselves to like blend in with people. His name is Rob Humanick.
I am
Don't worry,
human.
it's me. I am perfectly human. It's Rob Humanick.
I review movie.
I met this man named Nick, and he was a human. I'm human Nick.
Nick,
Hello.
human.
Me, Rob, human
Hello.
Nick.
Why did I make him a robot?
I don't know. So Rob Humanick, the alien, with a positive review, actually says, the joys of Night of the Ghouls rest on the laurels of an extremely acquired taste in bad movies. Don't say you weren't warned. And they did put bad in quotation marks, because again, there are no bad movies.
There are
And
no bad movies.
even this alien, Rob Humanick, knows this
Hello.
one. Oh, they're from
I made
sweet101.com, by the way.
Rob Gonzalez
Another
of
Rob?
Rob's Movie Vault says, worth a look, as all Wood films are, if only for the laughs.
Okay, yeah, I get that. I see that. And for the laughs is kind of why we were here a little bit, because we watched this trailer and we were feeling a certain way. Should we talk about our expectations of this movie?
Do it. Overall.
For me, I was actually thinking overall expectations, I suspect 5 stars for fun. I thought I was going to have a really good time with these. I tend to enjoy the older, like 50s horror movies a lot, so I thought we were going to be in for a good time.
He put a lot of emphasis on thought there. Overall, this movie will be so short and so sweet. I don't know why. There was just something about this movie being like an hour long that just like excited me. And I was like overall excited about that.
Well, because like the thing is, like we've talked about, like how doing this podcast is not our full-time job. And we love it so much. It is a work of a labor of love that we do.
Yeah,
and sometimes getting to do it weekly is tough with scheduling and stuff. So sometimes when you're like, we got busy lives, busy weeks, work stuff going on, all that kind of stuff. Mondays beating you down. When we just have to talk about and watch a 1-hour movie, that's bliss.
It's bliss.
It's incredible. I love that.
And we can still stretch the episode out to be our normal length.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like we'll find the bullshit to talk about. But yeah, this was an easy week for us. Not to say the other weeks are necessarily hard, but it was just kind of nice to be like, this one's going to be a breeze. No problem. Let's get into this one.
This is wind over my heels.
So my first formal expectations over your heels? What?
No, I thought you were going to keep going. I think you're going.
My first expectation is old does not equal good. I feel like we hold a lot of older movies from 80s and 70s backwards, right? They're like, because it is old, it has to be good, right? We hold this in this regard, but think about that. Not every movie's gonna be a perfect movie. There have to be ones that are less great than other ones, right? So I do not think this is gonna be one of those ones where just because it is a bad movie means it's a good movie, right? Why are you looking at me with that smile, Derek?
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all movies were created equal.
Okay, so listen up. High Horse, you can stay out of the room. Any of you theater kids listening to me right now?
Yo, what's up, homies?
I feel like there was a point in every theater kid's career where they memorized most of Hamilton. Either because they actually enjoyed it or because everyone around them was talking about it. Hamilton was a plague that overtook all the minds of theater kids at some point.
At some point. Even if you were a hipster like Isaac, it still comes back to get you
It's so
eventually.
True. I hate it sometimes, and I definitely have hipster tendencies to myself when I'm like, oh, a bunch of people don't like this, then I'm not going to be into it. And even me, being that kind of person, I still know a lot of Hamilton. So I talked to Derek about how there's so much wordage inside of Hamilton,
so many words,
that at any point, any day, almost every single day, there is a moment I can make a reference to Hamilton and a quote will come out or something like that. How many words would you say are inside of Hamilton?
I Googled how many words.
We Googled it so you don't have to.
Oh my God, yeah. I did it for you.
That's for you.
Didn't I do it for you?
We can keep driving. That is such a niche reference.
I know, but the one person who got it will cheer. So Hamilton packs in 144 words per minute. That's insane.
So many words.
That's more words than I can think. If I thunk that I could think more words than that, I couldn't think them. And now I'm a rapper. And Hamilton was a show. And in that show, there were 20,520 words.
That's a lot of words.
That's more words than I've lived.
But so literally at any point in the day, and I cannot remember the last, I need one of those whiteboards. It's this many days since last incident, and it's this many days since last Hamilton reference.
It's so true.
And it's a 0 now because Derek just made one.
I did.
Sometimes I think them in my head. I'm like, I can't say that one out loud. That's an inside thought.
I've done this weird thing where every time I'm about to make a Hamilton reference, I sing the beginning of In the Heights because I feel like it's going to take me out of the Hamilton vein, which is why I sang In the Heights a second ago.
Yep.
It's a plague. It's a plague.
So anyway, back to the rest of the episode for you non-theater people. What's up? We're back. Hey,
Thank
we're
you.
super.
Hey, if
we're
you
so
skipped ahead-
Ghoul.
if
We're
you
so
skipped
Ghoul.
ahead,
We've
just
never even heard of
Don't
theater
even worry
before.
about us. We're Ghoul, We're so Ghoul. All right, my first expectation is an Ed Wood movie. Yes!
You're excited
Thank you.
about it?
I remember now. I learned during the trailer.
Yes.
It was Ed Wood.
Yes, that's what I thought. Yeah. I said incredibly charming just because I feel like these old horror movies, even the worst of the worst ones, have this like weird charm about them because like we did not have the technology to do things like big CGI projects, right? So like you have to do the practical effects. And I think there is something to be said about that. The fact that they had to do it this way, there was no way around it. There was no easier method to do with technology and computers and stuff like that, right? So like you force their hand to try to do weird things to make certain like ghostly effects happen. And even if they suck, I love them because it's like, wow, look at that fun thing you did. I think practical effects are always the best.
I agree.
They're wonderful.
I did actually forget to mention something in budget. I'm going to mention real quick. So I did look into the other movies' budgets for this for Ed.
The other Ed Wood
I almost
movies.
said Ed Gein for Ed Wood.
I keep thinking that too. Every time I say Ed Wood, I'm like almost Ed Gein.
Different guy. So
Different horrible man.
much worse.
Terrible.
Much worse. Ed Wood. So most of his films were between $40,000 and $80,000 to make. At the time, which is so low. I mean, so low. Let's look. Let's look at how much that was. 1959. Take a guess, Isaac.
What? Like how much money that would be?
Yeah, how much is that
in
today?
today's day and age? What was the first number?
50,000.
50,000?
1959.
Like add a zero to that, like 500.
Okay, so this actually did the opposite of what I wanted it to do.
Yeah, what's up?
Because this is saying that this movie cost $500,000 to make today.
That's not that much money. Like I guess that is a lot of money.
No, that's a lot of money for the quality of this movie.
That's true.
So
if today's date you said $500,000 is what they spent on this movie, like no way, absolutely not.
No. So I think maybe something is in skew there.
Something ain't right
because
here.
if he was spending $500,000 on this movie, something went wrong.
Something went wrong.
All right, my next expectation was amazing B movie vibes. I feel like we haven't watched a lot of B movies for this podcast, right?
I feel like those are like low hanging fruit. Is why it's too easy, right?
I can't even. Maybe Birdemic. I think would be the only movie that was like B movie quality.
But again, going towards that, I'm like, okay, everybody knows Birdemic, right? That's the B movie of B movies.
Yeah, but I feel like this one it really stands out as something else.
B
it's
is
like,
for bird.
B is for boovie, and I feel like this movie really is different.
Yeah.
And so I was excited. I was excited for those amazing B movie effects.
Absolutely. I said such fun. Same to you. Like I said, such fun work for the effects because there were some funny moments that we saw within the trailer. One of them including a floating trumpet, and that seemed really hilarious. Like just based on that alone, I thought we were going to get some really fun, really creative, stupid effects to add some ghostliness to this movie that I was really, really here for.
For sure. I said that it would feel like a shitty school production.
Ooh, yeah. I said a powerful soundtrack, just like something about like the music that was playing throughout the trailer. I was like, this movie might be a bop, and like I feel like back in the 50s that music was an art, and I feel like all around it was like I still feel like obviously there's great music in the movies today, but like it's not
the same.
Yeah, exactly. It's not
really not the same.
Different vibe, but it's also like not every movie. But back then, I feel like there were a lot of movies that even if the movie was terrible, it still had some fun music behind it, right?
Yeah, for sure. The dialogue will be so bad, and then I did that XD face where you do capital X and a capital
XD
D.
face.
Rawr, XD.
I said it's the 50s, so sexism probably.
Oh God, yeah.
That was kind of just an easy one where I'm like, yeah, typically is something that I remember every time I go back to these movies. It's like, right, yeah, that was a problem. I mean, still is, but they were really not quiet about it.
No, they weren't. And then my final one is I'll dream of more 50 movies for the podcast.
Ooh, yes.
movies for the podcast.
Because they're fun.
Because we watched Roman.
What the hell was that movie named? Something Planet?
It was called Roman.
It was called something. A Robot Monster is what that was called, I think.
It was called Roman.
Maybe? Something like that. Anyway, we watched that movie however many episodes ago, but like the 50s movies are a lot of fun. I do kind of enjoy them. So shall we...
hey guys!
Hello?
Can I come in?
Yeah, is that...
Why is your Necronomicon talking?
Is that who I think it is?
Hey, it's me, Scrippy Scripto.
Scrippy Scripto.
It's been a really long time.
Welcome back to the fold.
I'm here. sure. I have a different voice now, probably. Derek doesn't look up his voices before he does that.
Who knows? We need to start like creating a spreadsheet of like, this is the character's name, this is the episode they came in, this is how their voice sounds.
Yeah, we need like a little sound bite. Oh yeah, that'd probably be good.
So what'd you? I
here's a
assume
bit
you've
of-
come here to tell us something about the script, right?
This script was all fucked up, and
What?
And I couldn't spend the $30 to get the actual script.
Is that real scripty script?
Yeah, that's the best way to get this script. It was $30.
$30.
So anyway, I downloaded the auto captioned English generated
Oh no,
script.
Scrippy,
So here
that's
you go.
not a good way to do this.
Thanks, bud. You just went back into hell. That's cool.
Is he also from hell, or him and Science Jim like bros?
Yeah, they're okay. I may have walked in on them the other day.
Doing what?
I thought they were reading,
But
but let me tell you, there was a lot of vibrating.
oh my
going on
god,
with
a
it.
lot of finger licking before turning those pages, huh?
But the pages were getting turned
Ah,
vigorously.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. Guys, have you ever looked at the auto-generated captions that like YouTube puts
man.
up for their videos? They're very bad. And are you telling me that's what you have right now?
So that's what I have in front of me. It's pretty funny. Scrippy Scripto really profusely apologized, but I kind of thanked him. So during this movie, there is some narration that goes over the top of it.
Some narration or a lot of narration?
There's a lot of narration. I thought we could start off with the narration that starts the movie.
Yeah, so hold on. It starts up with great music. Our narrator rises from a coffin and addresses us.
Yes.
And I feel like more movies should have corny introductions like this.
He sucked though.
He did. I literally wrote, I'm like, this guy is okay.
Yeah, so do we want to talk about who that is real quick, or is Count Trivia going to
No,
talk
I have
about
nothing about him. Please tell me about this character.
Oh, you don't have anything? I thought you were going to have stuff about it.
No, nothing.
I didn't write it down. So this man leans up, and he's got this stupid hair. And he's
it's just the dumbest hair you've ever seen. Just like
and
this stupid hair.
He's like Liberace if Liberace was a hypnotist. His name was Jaron Criswell King, the amazing Criswell.
The amazing Criswell.
He basically was really good friends with Ed Wilm.
God goodness, Ed Wood.
Ed Wood. And he was in a bunch of his movies. Oh, he was in 3 of his movies, but that's okay.
That's a bunch.
It's a bunch. But yeah, he was just a hypnotist, like from the 1950s, which is funny because there's a hypnotist in this movie.
Yeah.
And it kind of seems like they have some
similarities between
but
the
he
two.
was in this movie playing himself.
Yes,
and
exactly.
he rises
He was our
from his
narrator.
grave and gives us this. I am Criswell. For many years, I have told you the almost unbelievable related, the unreal.
This is so funny because this is like definitely not exactly what he said, but we're gonna keep going with it.
Okay. Yeah, so if it doesn't make any sense, you're not having a stroke.
Yeah, we promise.
Unless you are, then go to the hospital. One more time.
Yeah.
Do you smell burnt toast? Are you okay? I'm worried about our people.
Oh my gosh.
I am Criswell. For many years, I have told you the almost unbelievable related to the unreal, and showed it to be more than fat. Now I will tell you a tale of the Threshold people, so astounding that some of you may think this is a story of those in Twilight. Time once human, now monsters, in a world between the living and the dead. Monsters to be pitted, monsters to be despised. This feels AI generated.
This is not
it is.
real.
For our talk, I must take you to your town.
Hold on, you missed where it says music,
Applause,
applause, music.
music.
Mind you, there is no applause in this movie.
Oh, that's true. For our talk, I must take you to your town. Any town, a police station actively of the night or day or night. Thank you.
A police station of the night or day or night. Thank you.
Activities, some of which the police are quite willing to admit. What's your name now, isn't it?
We should just do the whole movie like this.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Admit what's your name? Music. Now isn't it?
Oh,
Oh
that
my
was fun.
goodness, that's too funny.
So this takes us to a small police town police station. In
So
the
yeah,
middle of
remember
nowhere.
that police officet that we talked about earlier?
Police
It does.
officet.
It looks like it belongs in a stage play. It really, really does. And the narration continues over the starting dialogue. We meet some lady who's crying about some horrors that she saw, and the police are kind of like unsure of what's happening. But then this is just a weird sequence that I have no idea why it happened. It quickly cuts to a sequence of like, the delinquents in the town. Look at them all. And it's just like a bunch of teens dancing. Then they're fighting. And then it's a little confusing because then there's just a bunch of scenes of like the teens are being delinquents and a cop is like speeding down the road. That's all it is, right? So it's like kids fighting at this diner. A cop speeds down the road. There's kids fighting in the street. There's a cop speeding down the road. There's a teen who drives his car off of a cliff for some reason and dies at the bottom of the cliff. You just see him like hanging out of the window looking dead. And then the cop speeds down the road again. I don't know if that's like to make us care about the cops in this movie. Like, look at our boys in blue saving the day again from all these delinquent teenagers.
I had to look up my reference.
Just to make sure.
I said Thelma and Louise.
Fact checking ourselves in the moment. We're not going to mess anything up today.
I was ready to come back to the mic and apologize to Steve, but I didn't have to.
No, we're good. We're good. So among the random sequences of teens, I guess, being delinquents, there's two teens that are making out in the car. And then this girl, she runs from like I guess he's getting a little too handsy. So she smacks him and she runs away from the car back towards this house, just a random house. They're in this like random clearing in the woods.
You know, the weirdest thing about them making out in this car is this was like sped up.
Yes.
For some reason, he filmed this and then was like, what if they just go double the speed?
Everything else is the normal speed. For some reason, the two of them making out and then even her running away from the car is sped up. You're so right. It's like,
it felt like a mistake.
Yeah. I was like, why did we do this?
I accidentally leaned on the fast forward button.
It's too late to fix it.
We'll fix it in post.
post in 23 years.
Yeah, Malone will get it.
So she's running away, and then from the trees we see a ghost, like a couple ghosts? I'm not really sure, because we see this lady who's in like these black robes and this veil, and she looks like kind of royal and regal. She's got this crown on her, but it looks like there's two different types, because there's one where you can see her face and there's one where you can't.
Yeah.
Later on we discover there actually are not. We'll settle that for you right now. There is only one ghost in the woods like that.
Only one of these two people is a ghost.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so one of them covers this girl in a robe as she screams, and then the boy kills the boy as well. It's this very cheesy 50s kill where it's just like the monster approaches the character and slowly covers them from the camera as they scream, and then it's like, well, are they dead?
My issue with this is extreme. Like, what's happening, man? It's like they just lay on top of them and nothing happens.
And I think it's just like to be ambiguous, you don't want to show the kill. Like, first of all, it's probably expensive and probably practical wise, probably difficult to show like a decent kill on screen, right?
There are better ways to kill someone.
Oh, definitely.
Like,
absolutely.
you can pretend to choke them. I'm not going to list them. But like, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. But having this ghostly figure just cover him with a sheet.
Yeah, it didn't really do much for me. But yeah, so it kills people, right?
But it is like, sorry to keep going.
No, you're fine.
It's that kind of like camp that I expect.
Yes.
Though. Like it wasn't like I was mad at it because it was dumb or
it was where it belonged. It was in place for sure.
I was mad at it because it didn't make any practical sense, but I was like happy that it was happening.
Yes, exactly. This movie is very choppy in that like it shows one scene, then it cuts back to one thing, then it goes in the future for another one, and then like in the past for another. Like it jumps back and forth so much.
It doesn't have any
that it is very confusing. But so that happens. Now we're back at the police station, and I really need to mention the fact that at this police station there's just a drunk man that walks into the building.
Yes.
And then walks out
for no reason.
Absolutely
they
not.
like kind of talk to him, and then he just walks away. There's nothing about it.
No, I don't even think they talk to him. He just walks in the building, is like, this isn't where I'm supposed to be, and then walks away. It's almost as if like a real drunk man stumbled into the set and then helped himself out. It is what it
felt like for sure.
It was so funny. It has nothing to do with the plot. It just really tickled me. I really liked that bit. So one of the cops walks in. He's in like a top hat, so like Monopoly Man going to come and solve the case. 100%
the Monopoly Man. He wanted to know who took the police car.
Exactly.
Or the Monopoly car. What is it called?
The little Monopoly car?
Jalopy?
The little Monopoly jalopy.
The Monopoly jalopy.
The Monopoloppy?
Jalopoli.
The Janopol. Help, please.
Jalopy, he's got your number.
So the sheriff of this little station is sending Monopoly Man out on an investigation, and he's pissed because he has tickets to go to the opera that night. He's like, don't you know the opera starts in an hour, and I gotta get Sheila back to the house. And he's like, well, as I recall, Sheila's house is on the way, so you can drop her off and then go to the spooky house, whatever. So the sheriff guy tells him he's the only man for the job because there may be ghosts
or ghouls, maybe.
So he's telling a story about what happened to that old lady who was crying just a second ago. So we see why she was crying in the first place. They were driving in a storm. It was her and her husband. And this is clearly just a car being shaken by people off screen.
I love this scene so much. Everything that happens from this point on in this scene is so good. Because, they're shaking the car and like the guy's like frantically pushing the steering wheel left and right. And like he's driven a car in his life.
Absolutely, right?
Why is he doing this?
But like, mind you, they are talking about, this terrible storm is in the way. There's no rain on the car whatsoever. It's a clear, beautiful night.
Sound studio where they're recording.
Absolutely. So they're at Willow's Lake is what they call it. And they say, Willow's Lake? You mean that place where that mad doctor made those monsters?
Oh, maybe that's a reference to a different movie.
Exactly. And at first, when they mentioned that, I thought it was a reference to another movie, not like, hey, this is a sequel to that movie,
it was
right?
literally that place.
Like direct location, right?
Yeah.
So the ghosts are just like ladies in dresses, and specifically this one that they find is this lady in a white dress, which we will now call the White Ghost, is her kind of name throughout the movie. So they pull up to that house and they are approached by said White Ghost, and suddenly the car won't start back up, and the old woman looks out and she sees the ghost, and like, she was screaming and crying at the police station about like that face, those fingers. I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. And she's looking at it just like kind of bewildered and just like pointing a finger at it.
She was like laughing.
Yeah.
It had
stupid.
It had the energy of like, when Pokemon Go first came out and everyone sat in their cars and drove around really, really, really slow.
Yes.
And they were like, no, go over there. That's where a Charmander is. So like it had that vibe because the car was driving like super, super slow. She was pointing. She was like, go over there. I want to catch that Charizard.
Because she's just sitting and staring as this white ghost is approaching her. And she's just like contorting her fingers kind of weird in front of the camera. So it looks kind of spooky. But like the lady in the car doesn't look very afraid.
No,
it's
she's
so
happy.
stupid.
She's like having the best day of her life.
So that's what happened with the two of them. That's why they were freaking out. So anyway, back with the sheriff, he's saying like there's enough stories piling up to justify sending someone out to that house to see what's going on there, right?
Yeah.
They call in a man named Kelton, who's another police officer here,
Kelly?
to go with Lieutenant Monopoly as backup, right? And he doesn't want to go. He's a little bit of a scaredy cat. And he like actually quits because he doesn't want them to go. He's like, no, this is ridiculous. You're always calling on me, Kelton. I'm out of here. I quit. So I guess he's not going with them.
He looked like Sergeant Boyle from Brooklyn
Nine-Nine. He really, really did,
like,
actually.
100%.
Like, kind of scarily identical in some moments.
But he was a bad actor.
Yeah.
Boyle is good.
But.
Here's a big but.
He's probably the best one in the movie so far.
Oh, yeah, he's hilarious.
He was definitely giving us that. Like, so far, he is my favorite character, bar none.
B-movie performance.
Exactly, right? So the house does not look very spooky. It's not your usual house on Haunted Hill. It just looks like some farmhouse in the nighttime, right? It really doesn't look that bad at all.
Yeah, no.
So we see there's more narration back to tell us about the Monopoly Man, who we now know is a ghost chaser. That's kind of his whole deal.
Yeah.
He lets himself into the house and is greeted by a man in a suit and a turban. He's a white man wearing a turban, looking like he's some kind of like psychic, I guess is kind of what he wants to sell himself off, right? And what's his name, Derek?
It's Dr. Acula.
Dr. Acula. Dr. Acula, i.e. Dracula, which is so funny because like you'd think that was some kind of like not so clever trick to be like, oh, he's a vampire at some point. No, he's not. He had nothing to do with vampires or Dracula whatsoever. They just thought it'd be a fun, spooky name to throw in there.
So actually, I don't know if this is a trivia. Did you talk about Dr. Acula in trivia at all?
No.
So Ed Wood was actually obsessed with Dr. Acula as like a concept. He loved the name.
It's one of those bits where like you come up with something that's so funny. You're like, there's got to be a way to make money off of this.
Like the driving crooner. No, so Dr. Acula he actually wrote and proposed a TV series
called Dr. Acula?
Called Dr. Acula that Bela Lugosi was supposed to be an investigator of the paranormal.
Oh my God.
So funny, right? Like, but he tried to put it in so many things.
That's insane.
Here's the funnier thing about Dr. Acula. So we watched this movie on YouTube. It's all free on there.
Yeah.
the auto captioning does not know how to handle the name Dr. Acula.
Oh my God.
So let me list all of the ways it said Dr. Acula.
Every single time. There was only one time, I think, in the entirety of the movie.
There are two, and I only know that because of the script.
Yes, you're right. So there are two moments in the entire script where they actually get Dr. Acula correct. The rest of the time, they throw some crazy nonsense in there.
Yep.
Derek, please tell me all the different names for Dr. Acula.
So first you have Dr. Acula.
Easy.
And then the remainder of these names are said multiple times.
Yeah, more than
they say his name
twice.
a lot.
They do, yeah.
Sometimes I couldn't find them because they just didn't have doctor in front of them. But here's the ones I got. Dr. Afra, Dr. Adler, Dr. Ahmed, Dr. Hackett, Dr. Eggman,
and my favorite,
Dr.
Killa.
Dr. Killa.
Dr. Killa. He's a killer, for
He's
sure.
a killer.
Dr. Killa's a killer.
So funny.
Dr. Acula's
so
a killer.
Funny.
So we meet Dr. Acula. He's a character, thinks he's a psychic, or at least as far as we know, is a psychic right now, right?
Yeah.
And he lets Monopoly Man into his house. Meanwhile, Kelton is back, so he's like, actually, I am gonna go on this, but I'm kind of sick of you guys treating me this way. It didn't really make sense why he quit and then came back and then tried to quit again and then decided he was going to. He was like, I don't have a patrol car. He's like my favorite stupid character. I love him so much.
Dumb. It was very much that vibe of the employee that wants to quit but needs the job really, really bad. He's like, well, fine, I quit.
Yeah, they threaten it a lot, but they're never actually going to commit to it.
Yeah.
So anyway, Dr. Acula takes Monopoly Man through an all dark passageway. I actually do like this effect. They do a lot in this movie. It makes it look really neat. They look like floating heads in the darkness because they have black suits and it's just their heads in the darkness. I think it looks really cool. And there's a couple scenes that look that way, right?
Somehow they were able to get this a lot during this movie, just that pure blackness.
I don't know how they did it. The lighting is kind of impressive for that.
It kind of is. My theory is that the entire thing was shot on a stage in Hollywood.
Definitely.
Because I knew that. I know that because I watched Ed Wood.
Right.
But it really gave that feeling of pure blackness really, really well.
But they have a lot of control over that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. So that makes sense. So Dr. Acula is talking about how he's resurrected the dead. That white ghost that's out in the yard that's just wandering was the first that he resurrected, and she's been hanging around here for 2 centuries. Ooh. Then, just for a moment, for no reason at all, because he doesn't become a character till later, we see Lobo, who is a character from that other movie, right? Yep. Which we don't know who he is at this point because we haven't seen that movie. No. But he's just a scary-looking man in a room somewhere. Half of his face is all burnt up, which I now know because the house was burning in the first movie. Again, lots of stuff that you're not going to know if you don't watch the first, but they didn't call this a sequel in any sense, right?
No.
So this movie makes such little sense. The order in which it decides to tell us things is so confusing. But it's a lot of back and forth between the police station and Dr. Acula. What's going on there? Yada, yada. Kelton shows up in his police car now. He ended up getting a car and just starts firing his gun into the woods. And then he calls for backup.
My favorite thing about this, too, is it's he sees a woman in the woods in a dress. He's like, oh God, I got to kill her.
Bang, bang, bang.
I got to shoot. It's so stupid.
Officer Kelton, we thank you for your service. Good Lord. So now Dr. Acula is holding some kind of seance. He's got it all set up. He's got this skull inside of this crystal ball. He's got this table set up. On one side, there are 3 people seated at this table. On the other side, across from them, there are 3 skeletons.
Yeah, dude, they're just chilling.
And they're kind of funny. One's got a bow on top of their head. There's one that just has nothing. And then the third one is a wig. A full wig on it. It was pretty funny.
Full-on Jesus wig, even.
So he starts holding this seance. There are the 3 people sitting at the table who I assume are the clients of his that he's trying to get money out of.
So.
And then Monopoly Man is just standing on the sidelines, right? So during this seance is when all the shitty effects are happening where cheesy music going on where there's just this trumpet that starts playing over it all, and then you get the shot of this trumpet just being puppeted through the air by fishing wire, right?
It was so happy.
So stupid, honestly, but it was so funny. And everyone's just cool with this. No one is looking where's that trumpet coming from? They're all just fine with it.
My favorite thing about this is it's obvious the trumpet and the weird bowl that floats through.
Yeah.
It's very obvious that was shot separate and then put in.
Absolutely.
Because they're not reacting to it at all.
Nobody's
they just keep
reacting
staring
to
straight
it.
forward. They're not being scared.
Nope.
Or they're asking about it. No, it's just a trumpet.
Exactly, right? So there's super cheesy music going over shots of people in sheets walking across a screen looking like ghosts, and they have a slide whistle effect with the ghost. Oh, it was so stupid.
Everybody loves my trumpet slide whistle at the seance.
Everyone loved the slide whistle. Suddenly, this is the worst effects that they have in this. And I really hated this part, honestly. A head just starts. A head appears from the black void and starts speaking to them in this voice that is too deep to understand. It is like unintelligible. It is like kind of distorted too. It's awful. It was a terrible effect.
And we could not understand what he was saying at
went
all.
on way too long too. I remember sitting there looking at Derek and I was like, so is it like almost done? Like, I kind of hate this bit right here.
It was awful.
What is the point of any of this, right?
Yeah.
But then it kind of reaches some point because a woman's dead husband rises out of a casket at somewhere, but it's not him. He's like, his voice is like using this vessel to talk to her or something.
I don't know.
It's not incredibly well explained, right?
No.
But he sits up in this casket and he tells her she should remarry and live on. Also, she's remarrying like this super young guy.
Yeah. He's like 12 and she's 86.
Yeah. So he tells her, like, like, I love you, baby, and you need to remarry and live on your life. Bye. Okay, have fun. I love you. Peace
and
out.
Then, he ghosted her.
And he ghosted her. Hey, that's pretty good. So after this, Monopoly Man finds a secret door in this room, and he's very suspicious of this whole act. He thinks it sinks to high heaven, right? So he's trying to find a way to sneak out of here. Meanwhile, Dr. Acula excuses himself, and that white ghost that's just been roaming the grounds out in the front, she comes in to talk to Dr. Acula alone, tells him that she's seeing ghosts.
She's not a ghost.
Yeah, so she's just a part of the act. So remember that regal ghost that I was talking about in those dark robes? So that might actually be a real ghost, but she, the white ghost, is not actually a real ghost.
Yeah. Also, can we please refer to Dr. Acula as Dr. Killa?
Dr. Killa, for sure.
I wasn't sure who you were talking about, but I think you're talking about
Dr. Killa, right? Or Dr. Ahmet or Dr. whatever.
No, Dr. Killa, preferably.
Dr. Killa for sure. Yeah, please use his Christian name. So she's just a part of the act, right? Her job is to scare people away, right? And kind of add to the whole ominous ambiance of this place, right? And so, yeah, Dr. Killa is definitely a freaking liar. He's a total con artist, a scam. None of his stuff is real.
He's a scam. He's botched.
So Monopoly Man does sneak off, and so he has been here once before. Again, this is another point where I'm like, was he a character in the first movie that I was not made aware of?
Oh, no.
I don't understand this. So years ago, he was here to investigate a mad scientist, right? In the first movie. So this movie seems like more of a sequel than I was actually expecting.
It's a lot of a sequel.
Yeah. So Kelton, meanwhile, again, is still just hiding in the police car out front. He keeps seeing that dark-robed, real regal ghost, and so they actually send another cop to go up to the house. So it's this cop, some random cop, and the sheriff himself are coming up to this house. They're like, we better check in on this. And like, is it really that serious?
It can't be.
Nobody
Possibly,
has died so far. I
Yeah.
guess those teens did die in the beginning. I don't really know.
I don't know.
But so while wandering the house, but the Monopoly Man finds another ghost lady, and he's thinking to himself, but we can hear it all. We're hearing his whole like internal monologue about like, wow, look at this impressive figure here. It must be like waxworks or something like that. Gee, it looks really real. Then he like backs away from it. Then she like smiles at him. Really, really dumb.
That's so stupid.
So as he's roaming and like looking into Dr. Killa's stuff, Dr. Killa finds him, and then he brought Lobo with him. So Lobo's basically like his muscle of the operation, I would say.
Yeah.
And no one addresses him either. It's not like, this is my assistant Lobo or anything. It's like, here's a scary man that I brought with me.
With a really messed up face.
So he's just staring at him scarily. Then he apprehends Monopoly Man. Pulls his arms behind his back. It's like, all right, buddy, let's go. He doesn't say anything, but
No, he's just cool.
Lieutenant Monopoly spills all of his intentions, and they take him away because he's
I
like,
spilled my intentions.
oh God, jeez.
Dang it! Does everybody see that?
Does anybody have any spare intentions? I'm so
I was told never
embarrassed.
to cry over spilled milk.
Spilled
but
all my
spilled
intentions.
intentions.
I know you're not supposed to cry over spilled milk. What do you do when you spill your intentions, though? Like, I don't know. What do I do?
I was reading this through the auto corrected, and it said, you spilled your intestines? Are you okay? Do you need any help?
Oh God, no! My intestines I spilled my intestines.
Oh my God, that's a sketch comedy. What if we did a sketch comedy show or a sketch?
We're basically just a step away from that at this point.
Anyway, so what if we did a sketch comedy bit where someone was reading a script and then whatever was changed in the script became reality? So like, what if they like whatever was being autocorrected became the truth?
Yes.
So like, instead of intentions, it was intestines.
He spilled his intentions. He spilled his intestines. But it's one of those where you have to change it live, like in the moment.
That's what I mean.
Oh no, I spilled all my intentions. Oh, it's intestines. Oh, God, my guts are all over the place.
That's fun. That's silly.
So Kelton finally gets out of the car and goes into the house.
I do think it's really funny. He was basically trapped in that car by some force. And that force was anxiety.
Himself and anxiety.
This movie was actually a really great segue into get your help.
Get help.
Like
Get help.
I'm in therapy.
Anxiety
right now,
is real. It's great. It's wonderful. And I think Kelton probably needs some therapy.
Kelton's he's a spokesman for therapy right now. That's in my life. This is trying.
So he goes into the house. There's a fun moment where he opens a closet and finds a skeleton inside of it. It was kind of just a cute moment that didn't really go anywhere. It's just kind of a funny little bit.
Yeah.
But Lobo starts pursuing him. Yep.
And it was very Resident Evil.
Now we're back at the ceremony. We're doing another seance thing, right, with Dr. Killa. And the white ghost lady, she shows up to act as part of the ceremony, right? She's like, oh, I'm a ghost. Look at me. Woo. And so Kelton just walks right into the room while the seance is happening, just interrupting the whole thing. But then Lobo comes in to stop him as he's trying. He basically walks in and is like, all right, you're all under arrest. I don't really know why, but you're all under arrest.
Yeah, it was really stupid. But he was acting.
He was committed.
Acting to hell, dude. He was ready. It was so cute.
Yeah, so he comes in here. Lobo and him kind of have a brawl, right? He shoots Lobo a lot. He just fills him with bullets, and then Lobo takes one swipe at him, and I'm like, are either of them dead? Are both of them dead? I don't really know what happened. Both of them kind of just went off screen, and then they're just like, well, let's continue with the seance, I guess.
Then.
And nobody at the table thinks it's weird that any of that happened, right?
Again, I think it's because it happened separate. It felt that way.
But they were all on the same set.
I know, but man, it just separate.
It just doesn't make sense, right? So I forgot to mention, they did lock away Lieutenant Monopoly in some room, and he escapes no problem. He just
it's a
throws
fake
his
door.
shoulder through the fake door, and he's
it's
fine,
not a
right?
real door.
So he happens upon a room with a coffin at the back wall, and opening it inside, he finds the body of Kelton, who is not actually dead. He was just unconscious, and he's like, oh yeah, I fought this really big dude who's the size of 10 dudes. Must be a jock or something like that. They're talking so casually about what's happening in this movie.
Yeah, for
the
sure.
acts of this movie, right? So Dr. Killa is talking with the white ghost about how this he scammed this one dude out of $10,000, and he just made it and he made a bunch of money, so now they need to get out of town, right? So he's like, we're gonna kill 2 police officers. People are gonna notice that, so we need to get the hell out of Dodge, right?
We need to set up camp somewhere else.
So now Kelton and Lieutenant Monopoly are trying to escape. Then another Lobo attack, right? But as they're getting attacked, the backup officers show up and just shoot him dead. Bang, 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 bang. Lobo is toast, right?
Yeah.
So I guess after a certain amount of bullets, you're done for.
Yeah, I mean, everybody dies to at least one bullet. Every Lobo dies to 6.
For every one person that dies to one bullet, there's a Lobo that dies to 6. Lobo dies to 6.
I said every Kelton has his sad
Lobo took the 6 of your bullets from your revolver. And it took all of them to kill him.
10 Lobo commandments.
Keep on going. Are you doing another Hamilton reference?
Wait for it.
Oh my god. That went nowhere. So also, mind you, there's still a real ghost outside to be dealt with. They're dealing with all the internal problems. Dr. Killa's a scam. He's conning people out of their money. He's not really a psychic. All that's happening. There is still a real ghost that nobody has been addressing this whole time.
The regal ghost.
Yeah, exactly.
She's just chilling out there.
I don't understand what they're going to do with her. So anyway, Dr. Killa and the white ghost are trying to escape right now, right? And then as they're trying to escape, Dr. Killa sends one of his cronies into where the backup is. Lieutenant Monopoly and Officer Kelton are all that. He starts trying to shoot them and shortly gets dead. He gets deaded. They kill him. No problem. It's 4 against 1, right? How is he going to make it? So as they are escaping, this part's really strange, and this is why the movie is called Night of the Ghouls. As they are escaping, Dr. Killa and his phony ghost girlfriend meet a lineup of men. There's just a bunch of dudes in suits standing in front of them. So they're apparently
so confusing at first.
They're apparently all of the ghosts that he called to return. They've showed up all of a sudden, and they're talking about once every so often when a powerful medium such as yourself is called upon us, then we are going to show up. And Derek literally goes, Oh yeah, the night of the ghouls is what he said out loud. So the group of dead men apprehend Dr. Acula. They grab him and then I think kill him. It's another one of those moments where the camera just covers him up and it's like, okay, I think he's dead, and like, kind of as he deserves. Oh, do you have a funny bit? Oh, please.
No, I have the auto-corrected, auto-generated. Okay,
go.
Once every 13 years, when called by a strong medium such as you, we are given a brief 12 hours of freedom for our deep pit of darkness. Those 2 hours are almost gone. We must return to the grave. You will accompany us there. I've lost the key. Try the backyard. Music, applause, music. Take it to the crib.
Take it to the crib. That's my absolute favorite part of this movie because they put his body in the casket. He's screaming as they shut the lid on top of him. And then they say, take him to the crypt. But the subtitles say, take him to the crib. And that is so much funnier. It's like, hey there, MTV. Welcome to my crib.
It's time for you to join the app in the grave.
Don't mind all the cobwebs up in here. It's totally cool. Yeah, welcome to my crypt crib. It's me. I'm a ghost. These ghosts don't look very ghoulish at all. They're just guys being dudes,
Yeah.
So now Dr. Killa is dead. He's done for. He's in his crib. And then the white ghost is running away. And as she's running away, she runs into the real ghost in the forest, that regal one in the dark robe, right? And she speaks to her saying, it is time for you to join the others in the grave. But there was a pause between others and in the grave, as in it's time for you to join the others.
In the crypt. This has been live on Saturday night with MTV.
It's Saturday Night Dead.
There's a camera there. There's a camera there. This has been Night of the Ghouls,
you
baby.
You just got pranked. You just got ghouled.
Whoa. Everybody download our app.
But it's just so funny that it seems like she's like, you're joining the others in the grave. We're going to kill you. You're going to be dead.
You're going to die.
You're going to join the ghost.
One day.
Do you get it? Are you understanding what it is?
Do you get it?
So she backs away into the forest, and then the white ghost actually follows her. She appears to be in some kind of trance, right? So the group of officers, they go to the casket of Dr. Acula, and on the ground, there's just a bunch of full skeletons.
I loved this.
Just spread across the ground.
I loved this.
So I guess there was the ghosts that were there that are now gone, but all of their skeletons were just left on the ground. What a mess that they left. What assholes. But so the white ghost walks into the foggy forest and then just disappears. And then one final word from our not so spooky narrator as he rests back into his casket. Take us out, Derek.
The true ending. It was only Patrolman Kelton's guess that could be considered the closest music. And now we return to our graves, the old and the new, and you. They join us, suit. Music applause.
Suit. Music applause.
The funny thing is the part of that was actually what he said. He really did say the old and the new and you. It just does. The old and the new and you.
They join us, suit.
They join us, suit. Music applause.
And that's it. I love how many times they put applause in there because there's never, ever applause in this movie.
And it's just applause in brackets.
Yeah.
I'm really curious. So the movie itself had a lot of static. I'm wondering if the static was what caused
it sounded
applause.
like applause to the AI, I guess. Goodness.
AI needs to grow up. Or
grow up. Come on.
I'm scared of you.
So that's the end of the movie. We did it. We made it through Night of the Ghouls. Do we have a kill count
it
on
was
this one?
4, I think.
Yeah.
Unless you include all the already dead people.
Yeah, because it was there was the teen that technically died in the car crash. There were the 2 teens that were making out. They died. There was his crony that died.
So that's
from the
4
gunshot.
right there.
There was Lobo that died. That's 5.
Lobo
and then
died.
Dr. Killa and then the white ghost technically.
so
So there's
there's
7. Yeah.
Whoa, that's a lot of people. Actually, a lot of dead.
That's actually a lot more dead than
That's
I
a lot-
thought.
I thought it was only 4.
So shall we discuss our expectation results
Yeah,
here?
maybe.
I said old does not equal good, and I would certainly say this is an oldie, but it is not a goodie.
Yeah,
This
for
is
sure.
definitely a prime example of just because it's old doesn't mean it's a good time.
And I said an Ed Wood movie. I mean, yeah, it was. I don't think it was the best traits of Ed Wood.
No.
though. I feel like there's a reason this movie took so long to release, and maybe it shouldn't have.
Yeah, there was no rush to put this movie out, right?
No.
I said incredibly charming, right? And not really. I liked Kelton just because he was funny, but this didn't have the charm that I wanted it to have.
Yeah. Amazing B-movie vibes, and that was definitely my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
Right? But it wasn't as much B-movie vibes as I wanted.
No, exactly. It took itself a little too seriously when if it had been a little more weird and ridiculous, I probably would have liked it a little bit more.
For sure.
I said so much fun with the effects, and all the funny bits were kind of shown in the trailer, and then in the movie they were really overused. Like we kept seeing shots of the floating trumpet, just like and over and over and over again.
Will feel like a shitty Schools production. I mean, kinda. It just felt so low budget. I wanted
the police
to die.
office set was bad.
The police office set, I bet I could buy it
or make it.
or make it.
I said it would have a powerful soundtrack, and I wonder if the soundtrack's back hurts because it was carrying this movie whole time.
Like, get it.
Thank you, artists that put together the soundtrack for this movie, because that is like the best part of this entire film. Really though.
Dialogue will be so bad, XD. Yeah, I wanted to die, actually. The dialogue.
This is dialogue.
Oh, is that why you're laughing? That was good.
I just thought what you said was funny.
This is dialogue.
Yeah.
More like die-a-lot. Yeah, this movie was bad in that regard.
And then my last one just says, it's the 50s, so sexism, and honestly, not much to be had considering there is really only one female character that was utilized in the film. The white ghost was really the only one that got to do anything, and she didn't do a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Lobo was sexualized because he was so hot.
He was very hot, yeah. I mean, hot from the fire that burned him, right?
Oh, that's
kind of sad.
I'll dream of more 50s movies for the podcast. I'm actually going to say yes. I really, I want more of this vibe.
Again,
but even, maybe a better movie.
Even if this one was not so fantastic, it is still something about it made it enjoyable, right? Just the older movies.
It's so different from what we normally watch that it was like a good change of pace. I think
it's
the
only palate cleanser.
Robot Monster was the only thing close to this that we've watched, and it was still it was
This Island Earth, I think is what that movie is called.
No, Robot Monster.
Is that Robot Monster? Maybe I'm thinking of another movie.
You are thinking.
I think it's just Robot Monster.
We watched Robot Monster.
Love Robot Monster. Anyway, I just didn't want to be wrong.
Roman.
Surprises. I said the music was a great time. I really enjoyed the music. That was one thing that was good throughout the entirety of the movie, even if the rest of it kind of faltered. I was surprised by how disjointed it all felt. It kept going backwards in time at random moments, and it wasn't always very clear about what was happening. So, there were a lot of these branched plot lines between, Kelton and then the Monopoly Man, Dr. Killa, the sheriff at the station, the white ghost, all of them were way too much, and they did not weave together very well. The fact that it was a sequel was a bit of a shock, considering none of the marketing dictated this. Again, not even the usual the shocking sequel to The Bride of the Monster or whatever in the trailer or the poster. None of it. And then my final surprise was just the slide whistle during the seance. That was so funny to me. I like that part a lot.
All right, my surprise is that it was by Ed Wood at all. I mean, I know that's kind of a weird surprise, but seriously, I kind of had forgotten he existed. But I really, when I watched Ed Wood years and years ago, I fell in love with him as an auteur. And I hate that word, but it's true. I really did. It's surprising I've never seen any of his porn movies. The fact that it was a sequel, I mean, the fact that it shared the world at all surprised me, but the fact that it was kind of like a direct sequel.
Oh, yeah.
The dreadful lines of dialogue were just
awful.
That's enough.
Awful,
also,
awful.
the music is something that else really surprised me.
Totally.
It was great. It was fantastic. And then the trumpet surprised me so much that it made me so happy.
The trumpet was so good, so man.
Fun.
I loved it.
The trumpet was the killer all along.
So verdict time, yeah?
Yeah, dude.
For me, that was boreable. I was happy to know this movie was only an hour long before I don't know if I could make much. I don't know if I could take much more of the movie, right? The hour-long movie was just as long as it needed to be. And it kind of dragged on. It confused the hell out of me. And it never really had any kind of satisfying payoffs for it. By the last 15 minutes of the movie, I was wondering if it was ever going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So this one was kind of a dud for me. But I will always enjoy a cheesy 50s horror movie.
Absolutely.
Regardless of how good or not so good it is.
For sure. For me, that was horrible.
Ooh, that was horrible.
Horrible. Yeah, it was so bad.
Yeah.
Night of the Ghouls is and always will be a B movie.
Yes.
It felt like it was created for Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Really, though.
The dialogue, acting, and sets are all very thrown together and sloppy. The fun that is had here is definitely just in making fun of it with your friends and not in what the movie gives you, though maybe pick a different Ed Wood masterpiece to watch.
Blah, blah,
hey,
it
what's
is
up,
me,
dude?
Count Trivia.
Fist
bump you, yes,
oh god,
absolutely.
I fist bump a vampire means I gotta go.
Now you are a vampire.
Kill my neighbor.
Blah, 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 blah.
I brought
you.
you.
Are under my thrall
I
now,
brought
Derek.
you food.
Now bring me my trivia.
I gave you food.
Now here is your trivia as payment. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Acula.
What? You call me, listen, in this house you call me Dr. Killer.
What's
That's pretty
We're gonna
cool,
get him
huh?
some gold chain. He's gonna walk around with some bling that
Give
just
me
says
a
Dr.
gold
Killer.
chain with some fangs on it and then some shades.
Wait, hey, Count Trivia.
Yeah.
You know those like pictures and stuff that's like one word, but if you look at it different, it's a different word.
Okay, yes.
So what if we had one that says Dr. Acula, but if you look at it different, it says Dr.
From another
Killer?
angle, it says Dr. Killer.
Yeah, dude.
I
Yeah,
like that
you
very
would be.
much.
Yeah.
Okay, have your
All right.
trivia. I'm away now.
You're beautiful.
Woo.
Kiss me. Oh, damn it.
So remember how there was the police officet that we mentioned?
Oh, I hated that.
What we failed to mention is there's a completely blank wall.
The photo.
Save for one picture. That is
Yes.
the only picture on this entire police wall.
So stupid.
It's so funny. What it is, the single photo on the police station wall is that of Edward Wood Jr. or
Aw.
Edward D. Wood Jr. actually.
Ed Wood.
So an unconvincing attempt has been made to turn it into a wanted poster by sticking a piece of paper above it with the word wanted on it. So it's actually the director in that.
That's fantastic.
The film was produced under the title Revenge of the Dead, which I guess makes a little bit more sense based on how it ends with all the ghost souls killing him by the end of it.
Yeah.
Although intended as a sequel to Bride of the Monster from 1955,
People talked about this.
this film featured only two characters from that film, Kelton and Lobo. It also claims that Lieutenant Bradford, who is a Monopoly Man, as we referred to him the entire movie, had worked in the earlier case when he appeared nowhere in the first film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like it
so
it
funny.
alludes to the fact that he was a part of that. He was not a character in that first movie at all.
Well, someone needs to correct that on the Wikipedia.
Yeah. A paperback novelization was published at the time of the film's release. Extant examples are scarce, with some copies bringing hundreds of dollars in online auctions.
What? That's
Yeah,
insane.
so apparently
I mean,
it's real hard to come by.
I wasn't lying when I said the script is $30.
Yes.
Like normally for these, I can find scripts, but this one, like I had to pay money and I
For
didn't.
some reason, yeah. Ed Wood finished the principal photography and rough cut of the film by late 1957, but couldn't afford the post-production work. The film laboratory opted to keep the negative footage until the bill could be paid, so it just sat there. By the 1980s, film historians either considered this a lost film or suspected that it never existed to begin with. Then, film archivist Wade Williams managed to locate the film, paid the film lab, and obtain ownership of it. So 23 later after it was filmed, it was finally released.
That's incredible.
That's insane, the hoops they had to go through to get this movie out there. Like, that's so crazy. And then finally, remember how I mentioned how I thought there were two regal ghosts in the beginning in the black robes?
Yeah.
Ed Wood has, what am I trying to say? Ed Wood had his face hidden by a dark veil and doubled as the black ghost in several shots of the movie, because there were some scenes where the ghost had a veil completely covering the face. According to Paul Marco, Wood could not get Jenny Stevens, who played that ghost, to film these scenes, so he wore the costume and acted as a replacement.
I love it.
So
Ed Wood is an icon.
That's insane to me, right? So yeah, he definitely was like, all right, fine, whatever, put me in a dress, I don't care. So it's time, Derek. Shall we discuss the next movie?
Yes. So exciting things are happening. We're having our first like big collaboration. So Tynan over at the Poe Show. We've mentioned the Poe Show a couple of times.
Yes,
on this
if you haven't
podcast.
listened, please go check out the Poe Show.
Go check it out. We were able a couple weekends to go and actually record an episode with him.
Yeah, so yeah,
It
we
was
get to guest on an
incredible.
episode of his podcast.
Yeah, so we recorded a bunch of the dialogue for the Dunwich Horror.
Yes.
Because we watched that movie, and so he did that as one of his episodes. Because he it's basically like. What am I trying to say? It's theatrical presentations of books,
Yes,
that are like Edgar Allan Poe or Lovecraft.
It's like radio
that kind
plays,
of dark
you know?
horror. Yeah, radio plays.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. And he composes all of his own music for it.
Yeah, guys,
It's
he
incredible.
puts so much more work into what he does than what we do.
Yeah, it's kind of
It's fantastic. He puts a lot of work and love into these great things he
Hey,
does.
we do too.
They're very. We do exactly.
do.
We do exactly. But we're not like doing Foley work and creating the music for all of the background and stuff like that.
Hey,
like
what do you call everything I do with my mouth? It's
high
Foley work.
horse building a soapbox.
No,
Goodness.
but really, so we went on. We did some narration. We did some voices. We had a silly fun time. So then we're like, what if we did a Poe movie?
Why not?
And you came on and joined us. So we're actually going to have him join us next week for Murders in the Rue Morgue from 1971.
Yeah, sitting at a 20% on Rotten
Yes.
Tomatoes. We had to find like one of the worst like Edgar Allan Poe adaptations, right, to kind of like thematically fit for that, right? So
It'll be a lot of
join
fun.
join us next week where we have our special guest, and check in. We're gonna be joined by Tynan Portillo, and he's gonna be wonderful.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be a fun time.
You guys got to hear his deep voice. Go check out his podcast in the meantime.
Yes, exactly.
Our episode isn't live on there yet. I think he said it's going to be sometime in the next month.
Yeah, just recently he released the episode for the Pit and the Pendulum, which is great. Yeah, so please go check him out. Go check him out. He's got Instagram as well, and so do we. Isn't that so strange?
Yeah, it's a good segue.
So we got our social medias here. Please go follow us as well as the Poe Show on Instagram. We are on Instagram at _was_horrible, Twitter at TWH Podcast, Facebook at That Was Horrible Podcast, YouTube at That Was Horrible, and TikTok at That Was Horrible.
That was horrible.
So yes, join us next week as we dive into the Poe with the Poe Show specialist Tynan Portillo. It'll be a wonderful time.
I'm gonna gallop away on high horse.
Has he gotten enough energy now to get out of here?
Yeah, he's doing okay. I'm gonna go take him to the doctor though. He's got a bad case of the Mondays.
Oh, jeez. All right, we're gonna go cure High Horse's bad case of the Mondays. But we'll see you next week. Please stay spooky.
Stay spooky.
Goodbye.